Hello everybody. Where am I? There I am. How's it going? It's me. We're on pre-show. Hey, Big D, you're joining me for the show, right?
I am indeed.
Hooray! That's good.
Hey.
Just sorting out the interweb pages at the moment because I gotta resize them so they fit the screen correctly. Because if I have it like full screen maximum. Then I can't, like, it doesn't work in the box desperately well, so I need to finagle and fiddle around with it. It's fine, though. We've got it. We can play with stuff. London Comic Con happened. We got a few reveals. Not much, but a few little bits to talk about.
Yeah.
I got a Joy toy as well this week. I got Isaac Araman, so I can talk about him.
Excellent.
But in an order for two more, because, you can't just have Araman on his own. That's silly.
No, that's why I've avoided Joy so far, because I'm worried it'll be a case of you just can't stop with one.
They're not the perfect action figures because of how Space Marine design are. It kind of is antithetical to making a superposable action figure, but they're good. They're way better than the McFarlane stuff.
Yeah,
which isn't a huge surprise because McFarlane.
They have done quite a lot of Imperial Guard, and also they do a lot of stuff for Infinity, which is all sci-fi tactical space anime troopers.
Yeah, the new thing is they've done the turtles.
Yeah, I saw that as well. I was like, oh, you sons of bitches.
I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. I'm waiting for them to do the Thousand Suns Contemptor Dreadnought. That's what I'm liking the look of, because I love the Contemptor Dreadnought. I love it. It's my second favorite Dreadnought design.
What's your first?
The normal one, the box, the square boy.
Oh, the old Castaferum.
Yeah, is that what they're called? I just know them as the square boys. Because that's all because to me, they were just dreadnoughts.
The classic. Yeah. It's still good fun. I'm really hoping when they get to the Space Wolf in 10th, because we know that they're going to do them. And honestly, they're probably going to redo Logan and probably Niall at least, and likely Beyond.
Okay.
I hope Beyond's not just an upgraded Redemptor.
I don't like Redemptors.
Redemptors have my issue with Redemptors. They go too far. They're too big because they're bigger than Knight Armigers. They're massive, and I didn't realize that until I first built one, and it's just like, bloody hell, this is huge.
And I'm not too fond of the shape as well. It feels like I would describe them as the Paul Heyman body build. Like they've got quite long-ish but thin legs, and then they're quite fat as well.
Yeah, I mean, I get what they were aiming for with the design.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But the thing that frustrates is that they brought it out after they had the Contemptor and the Leviathan.
The Contemptor's so much better as a design.
Oh yeah,
so much better.
And honestly, if I had the option, or if I had one in front. Oh, good example. I have a Death Watch army. When I was building that, because I built it towards the end of 7th, when I was getting back into the hobby, I bought a Leviathan Dreadnought. And I struggled to think of where to put it. And in the end, it's one of the only models I actually have painted with this army, but I did it for the Death Watch. And honestly, I would just use it as a Redemptor Dread. It's on the same size base.
Is it same? I didn't know it was the same base.
I'm pretty sure it's the same because the Leviathan's a big old. It's a big old kit, but it feels more solid than Redemptor.
Yeah,
It feels better proportioned. So I mean, especially with the plastic Leviathan that's out now, if you're 9 times out of 10, I mean, I have like 5 Redemptors stacked up because I bought them when they made them cheaper.
You don't need to explain. You're Big D. I understand. That's just how it goes. That's how it happens.
Yeah. I just have 5 Redemptors.
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah.
that's not kind of ones I've already built. But no, once I've got those out of the way, I'm probably just going to buy Leviathans instead to use as Redemptors because they just look nicer.
Yeah, they look better.
They feel more Space Marine-y.
Yeah, they're Contemptors but bigger. A lot, obviously, a lot bigger, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think Leviathans, depending on the pattern of Leviathan, can be a little almost too much. But I still prefer them over Redemptors. They just have a better look and feel to them, like the Redemptor.
I don't know if I'd
try Contemptor. Contemptor, not Redemptor.
I don't know if I'd try and proxy with Deredeo for anything, because that's very specific and also
Which one's that one?
That's the one that's basically like a boat hull.
Oh, I don't like that one. That's a bit too silly.
But it is spectacularly overgunned. I love that in its original rules, you couldn't even fire the plasma guns without them damaging the Dreadnought. It would always take damage.
I think my problem with that one is it looks a bit too battle techy, just because of the shape of it.
That. I do get that. It's very rifleman in its design.
Yeah.
And I say that as someone who adores the rifleman, but still, it's just like, come on, lads, that's a little too close.
Yeah. I felt so. I thought that was the case. Yeah.
I mean, I do still find it funny that the unofficial name for the Mortis pattern Dreadnought is the Rifleman. But if you go for the twin autocannon loadout on both arms, that's a Rifleman, baby.
Damn. No, it's different. What are you talking about? It's completely different. Trust me, bro.
I mean, in fairness, a Dreadnought can take more damage than a Rifleman can.
That's not saying much.
Well, the Rifleman is known in the Arctic universe for being hilariously under-armored for its size.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But then it is an anti-aircraft mech, so no one expects it to take the front lines. That's Battletech, baby.
Yeah. Shall we talk about some Transformers?
Oh, let's do so. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to play some music, and then we'll get to talking Transformers stuff. Let's go.
Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name is Andy, Decayed Andy, and we are here with the man, Big D. Hello, Big D.
Hey, dude. How you doing?
Same as usual, just very sleepy at the moment. As we have moved from one time period to another. It's, what's it, daylight savings? Is that what they call it? Or is it the other one? Winter savings, darkness savings.
Well, we've left British summertime.
Oh, yeah. That's the one. So we've gone back an hour, right? Yeah. Back 1 hour.
No, we went forward. No. Yeah, we went back, yeah. Spring forward, fall back, yeah.
I didn't know what was happening. I looked at I went to bed. I went up to bed and upon an episode of Babylon 5, and it was one time. And then I looked at the TV and it said it was 2 o'clock. I was like, no, it's 3 o'clock. What are you talking about? Oh, fuck, it's today? Oh, shit, okay. What the heck?
Yeah. Fun times.
That's how it goes.
I didn't realize until like Thursday it was this weekend.
I wonder, do you think they'll ever just like get rid of this daylight savings malarkey? Because it doesn't really serve a purpose anymore, really. I don't think.
It's a weird one, because I mean, I know from past experience when I was working shifts, it was noticeable, the difference. So, like, in the summertime, it would feel lighter when things rolled around, and in the summertime, you'd feel like you had... It felt like it made a difference, so...
Well, I think if we did keep to a time period, you should probably keep to the summer one. So, like you say, you have all the time in the light that you can handle. And for winter, well, it doesn't matter, because no matter what time you get up, it's going to be dark. Because it gets to winter time, whether you get up at what was 6 or what is now 7, it's dark. It doesn't matter. It's dark regardless, and it gets dark by 3 or 4 o'clock again regardless. It doesn't matter. Yeah,
that's fair.
I don't know. Seems weird. I'm sure there's a reason. Or it's probably just as basic as who fucking cares? Just leave it as is.
Yeah.
Probably down to that, to be honest.
I know I knew about it once. I just can't remember anymore.
Yeah. It had a purpose. I don't think it has a purpose now. Unless someone tells me otherwise. But we're here to talk about Transformers, not the practicality of daylight savings. which I'm woefully ignorant about, but complain about it anyway because I hate trying to change my sleep schedule, bad as it may be. We're going to start off the week with the possible Super 7 Reaction Diaclone Devastator figure. We have an image on screen which was reported from reported of a Transformers Reaction Devastator. Apparently, this is a very small image of a yellow Devastator with some orange bits on it as well. It's not exactly G2 because Mixmaster's orange. Clearly, Hook would be orange, and I don't know. I guess no, Motormaster wouldn't. Not Motormaster. Longhaul wouldn't be orange. He looks like he's mostly yellow, but it's this weird eclectic kind of mix of colors.
See, part of me was wondering, looking at this, if they were trying to shout out the Autobot Junior Target Masters, but they'd have to have made Scrapper orange as well, which they haven't done.
Yeah, it's
it's an odd choice of colours.
And Mixmaster would have to be red as well. That's another thing. And Longhaul would have to be beige and brown. So, they do have a little description of the product from the official listing and image via Preview World. So I guess they did confirm it eventually during the week. The latest 6-inch tall articulated Transformers Wrecking Crew Devastator. Interesting. Not Constructicon Devastator, Wrecking Crew Devastator. It's inspired by the original Japanese toy. There we go. From the 1980s. And features the Constructicon warriors in yellow and orange and blue colorway, including a magma laser accessory, and comes with packaging in an oversized window cardboard packaging. Shipping now, or scheduled ship now. Please contact you. Blah, 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 blah. In stores December 25th. Final orders on the 4th of November, so pretty soon. Going to be $25 US dues. So if you like your reaction figures, okay, well, fair enough. I think you're in the market for Funko Pops too. But would this be something that would tempt you into the reaction line? Even though I hate them. Well, I don't hate them. I just find them kind of. I find that there's stuff that I like to look at in a store. Like if I was able to go to Forbidden Planet, I think I would like to look at them and go, "That's cute," and then never buy one.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's relatively cheap. At 25 quid. But
for a 6-inch action figure? That's about the same price as a normal Transformer.
Well, compared to a lot of these, I might be getting confused, but don't Super 7 do another line that's really about... Who does the ones that had like Bludgeon and Grimlock?
Oh, that's Super 7 as well. Yeah,
because they're they're about 70 or 80 quid.
Yes.
In some places.
Yeah, they're very expensive.
So by comparison, this is relatively cheaper. Not cheap enough for me to want to buy one because knock another 15 quid off it and then we might be talking. But, as a novelty, and if these are kind of like what you want your collection to look like.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I'm sure there's someone who's a fan of them, and fair shout.
Not a real fan. I wouldn't let them in my convention. I'd be like, "What do you collect? Reaction figures? Get out! You're not allowed in. Lifetime ban." Where's the Funko Pop convention? Exactly, there isn't one.
Yeah, it's a little bit sad, to be honest, that this line just keeps chugging along because it all seems to be recolors now.
Yeah, well, you gotta milk the customer base no matter what toy line you're going for. You gotta get as much money as you can. Repaints are the easiest way to do so. I assume they'll pump out some more eventually. Again, not that I'm really too invested whether they do or they don't, but it's just like, Orange Devastator. Well, yellow and Orange Devastator. Welcome, Orange. Orange says all 3 reveals that I care about are perfect, and I'm sticking to that opinion. We'll get there. We'll get there. Nearly there. So that was the reaction stuff. There was also the TFCon Baltimore 2024 exclusive MB-18A Obsidian Commander. So it's Fatimus Prime, but what if Evil Doe?
Ooh.
I think this is a version, a color scheme we've seen before, right? Like many years ago. I think this was the color scheme of a model kit of Fatimus Prime that Japan had, because I'm pretty sure I had this, but the model kit version, and I think I sold it to Mr. Brad Beebs many years ago.
Okay.
If you wondered, this will be $270 because it's big figure, limited to 600 pieces worldwide. The color scheme, for those not aware, is Fat Prime is Nemesis Prime colors, and his accessory limbs are the fire truck is kind of sickly yellow. The drill is baby blue. The helicopter is Astro Train purple. And the submarine is just black, which is kind of a bit of a shame because it doesn't stand out versus the rest of his body.
No.
But he does have a nice, I wouldn't say, it's antique gold is what I would call it. Antique gold chrome sword. Actually, all of the chrome on it is what I would class as antique gold, using my painting methodology. It's not a retributor gold, which you'd expect. Big D will understand. I'm not sure who else will, but that's okay. That's fine. What do you think of this set, Big D? Do you like it? Do you think it's a good Nemesis Prime recolor?
I do kind of dig it. I'm even that black and turquoise for the sub, whilst it is understated compared to the others, I think it works in the context of the team of the vehicles. Not so much as a limb, but I do like how I actually do like how they look combined together. I mean, I do love how Fans Hobby have been doing these updates of like Energon Prime and stuff.
Yeah,
it looks nicer than the original versions, which is what everyone can want, really.
And they're slightly stylized. Slightly stylized, not completely. Let's be fair, if you want this as a Hasbro version, it'll probably have to be Commander, won't it?
Yeah, more than likely. I mean, no, I like this. I think this looks great.
Yeah. No, my only issue, as I mentioned, is I think it would be nice if they're making it to look like it should, but I wish the original version didn't have a black and turquoise sub. It just seems to blend in with the rest of it, while the other limbs are at least a bit more of a unique color. Maybe they could have inverted the color scheme, so it would have.
The drill's got the turquoise and the black detailing, so that wouldn't really have worked.
No. I don't know. I would have liked something, though. Something just to make it pop. I don't know.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah. It's no win situation, I suppose. But if you want this, like I say, it's limited. It's going to be reasonably expensive. It is not a Predator, which I guess is a benefit. It's not one of the obliterators. It's not G2 Fellow, but I suppose one of those could be revealed any day. And someone will go, "Hey, Andy, what do you think about this?" And I go, "Wow, that's fucking expensive, and I'll never be able to own one." Wow, what a treat. Hurrah. But yeah, it's another... TFCon is pretty good about getting some quite decent, I'd say, exclusives. At least they've got this nice little thing going with Fans Hobby at the moment. I wonder if TF Nation will get anything like that in the future. They used to get not a huge amount of exclusive, but they used to do an exclusive at one point. I don't think they do anymore. I don't think so. I'm not sure.
Interesting. Yeah.
Anyway... So, bit of news, sad or not, I don't know, depends how you feel about this. John 1 has been released from Hasbro. After many people, it seems like, have been culled from the Hasbro creative team and general places around the Hasbro to, I guess, skim the fat or just save some money. John 1, I may as well read his little spiel about leaving, but it's nothing crazy. I've had the privilege of a lifetime to be part of the creative force at Hasbro. When I was a boy in the early 80s, oh my god, 10,000 years ago, I was encouraged by my dad, an inner city public school art teacher, to learn about industrial design. It wasn't until I saw where the toys came from in 1984 on a VHS cassette from my local library. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know there were documentaries on how they made toys all the way back in 1984. That would have been cool to see. I realized that the worlds of drawing, painting, sculpting, and mass production engineering collided into a fascinating miasma. Oh, miasma. You don't say that word every day. Resulting in a swivel-armed hero that I held in my hand. The next year, I would go to write a letter for my 5th grade class to Ralph Schaefer. Oh my God, I've heard that name before. The mastermind SVP, who alongside the mighty James Gorman, I've heard that name too, created the wacky Madball line. Oh, I know of that. In the nearby Metro Arena in Cleveland, Ohio. To my surprise, he wrote back, and I got a tour. The illustration on Frisket hanging on the wall. Originals from Gorman himself, and a think tank of subversive designers. My career at Hasbro has taught me what it means to dream hard enough that your dreams come to life. I hope mine never come to life because my dreams are nightmares. Jesus. And just like the closing act of the Muppet movie, okay, for 25 years, you as Hasbro fans of Transformers, G.I. Joe, Mask, don't mention Mask. We haven't had Mask for decades. Visionaries, again, don't mention Visionaries. We haven't had anything Visionaries for years. Gem, I look back. Pokemon, is Pokemon owned by Hasbro now? Or maybe he's just making Star Wars. No.
Did they not have a part in some of the toys that got released in like the 2000s?
I don't know. I didn't think Hasbro had any hand in Pokemon, but I remember buying Pokemon toys when they first came out, but I don't remember them being Hasbro products. Not that that means anything. Star Wars, we came together though the crashing anarchy of the rainbow. Through the crashing anarchy of the rainbow, we came together somehow like a family. A family where we give you money and you give us things to beyond measure. It's been a privilege and an honor to talk to each and every... I don't believe that. It's been an honor to talk to each and every one of you. That's a fucking lie. I would... Jesus. If you've gone to a convention and you've talked to some people there, you'll know that's a fucking lie. We are all family. Again, a kind statement, but not true. Thank you, thank you, fans, and thank you, Hasbro, for giving me the opportunity of a lifetime to bring my childhood dreams to life these past 25 years, even to bring new dreams to life for a new generation of fans, like my kids who are now adults. Oh, God. As I gaze misty-eyed on my career, what magic comes next? My heart is filled with gratitude. Fear not, Autobots. I am sure our paths will come together again, as sure as the sun beams in from above onto the singing Muppets below. Thank you. So there you go. What do you think of the departure of John Warden? Because I hear that John Warden might be one of the reasons why G1 is being pushed so heavily and not much else.
That has been a rumor that does the rounds on quite a few of the. Amongst the fandom.
Whether true or not, we don't know. At least I don't know.
You never like to see anyone lose their job, though.
Sure.
And the one thing I don't think anyone can doubt is that he's genuinely had a passion for what he's been doing.
Yeah. He's done it long enough. It would be really depressing if he was like, fucking hated it. Lame.
Yeah. So, especially as he'd only just moved back to the Transformers team.
Yeah, because I remember he was moved to Play-Doh. Was he then moved to Nerf or Super Soakers? And then, like you said, he recently-ish came back to Transformers, and then now he's been booted again, or just booted completely now.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Like I say, you never like to see anyone lose their job. I hate seeing all these announcements of industry layoffs in any industry, especially amongst the creative ones at the moment. So many of them it's never for people who kind of you think really should be getting booted out.
I don't know. There's some people in the games industry who talk on Twitter who kind of deserve to be fired when they're shitting on people, and you're like, maybe you should be fired. But I know what you mean.
The problem is a lot of ones doing that shitting aren't the ones who are getting fired. It's all the ones in the trenches, so to speak.
No, yes, it's true.
It's never the ones, who are treated as the rock stars who have moved to a place where they're nice and secure and earning their 7-figure bonuses.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Hasbro, I'm sure I've seen reports that the head of Hasbro is rewarded spectacularly for what seems to be not much effort compared to his teams.
CEOs,
So,
isn't it?
It is.
That's how it usually feels as a plebeian who doesn't know the industries and things. That's how it usually appears when CEOs get their pay rises and then everybody else suffers below.
Yeah, so shame.
Yeah.
We probably won't see for another year or two, maybe, or if that has any changes.
Well, we don't. I suppose we don't know how much John Warden set up before he was let go, and if those plans have been changed. It's hard to know, but I know what you mean. It's like with the movies, right? If the industry is like, we want to turn, well, you at least 4 or 5 years before those movies that you're now making to course correct from where you go and can actually come out and help, I suppose. It's weird.
Yeah.
Orange says Mad Balls were my jam back in the day. Did you have a Mad Ball? I never had Mad Balls.
I had Mad Balls. They were very silly. Do you remember? Did you ever see them, Andy?
They were just like balls with like a weird mummy gross face, right?
Well, they were that, but also each one had an associate. It came with a body, so it was actually an action figure.
Ah, yeah, I never had them. I'm pretty sure I saw adverts for them, but never had one.
Yeah, but the body was basically a launcher. So you could shoot the head and swap heads with bodies and stuff. And I remember having great fun with my friends in the playground, just shooting these at each other's Mad Balls. And God, that sounds so daft. If we didn't have marbles, we had Mad Balls.
Oh, that's cool.
So we'd find the pit and just use those instead of marbles.
Yeah. So. No, that wasn't a toy for me. Like I say, I saw them, but never had them.
Yeah, I mean,
I remember the adverts on TV.
They were very silly.
No, I mean, it's just a weird-faced ball that you shoot at other weird-faced balls. Fun times. So yeah, sad news for John. Hopefully he'll get some good stuff in the future. A little bit depressing to read as his children are now adults, and you're like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that hit me in the spirit.
Which makes sense because he has been working there for 25 years, so that is a small person to a full person, at least, if not more.
Yeah,
But there you go. MCM, London Comic Con. We had some what I would consider boring reveals, at least from my perspective, on Saturday. Those reveals were Studio Series Bumblebee movie, Deluxe Bumblebee, Revenge of the Fallen. Rise of the Beast Voyage Optimus Prime. It's a repackage, so we've had it before. Yep. Rise of the Beast Apeling, which will probably, I assume, just be a slight retool of Primal, I would imagine. Yep. Might be wrong. That's a leader. A repackage of 86 Deluxe Jazz repackage, which I don't think we see an image for, but it's like, okay.
No, there is an image down there.
Can we tell which Jazz it is? Is it the actual Studio Series one with the translucent windows, or is it the one without the no,
it's in real mode,
you can't tell. You can't tell. Yeah, I'm just looking at it. And that's even if that's a real image of it, I suppose, rather than a digital render. There's also Dark of the Moon Deluxe QUE, who was Wheeljack at one point, at least rumored to be Wheeljack, if you remember.
Yeah.
He wasn't, I don't think. War for Cybertron, Ironhide, which is obviously just a retweak of the Ratchet, red version. Age of Extinction, Leader Optimus Prime, which I guess is a new one. And then Dark of the Moon, Leader Shockwave, which is a repackage as well. So are there any here that take your fancy? What about the Bumblebee? We'll start off with Bumblebee from the Bumblebee movie, the Beetle Bumblebee.
He looks cute.
A lot of undercarriage in vehicle mode, it seems.
Yeah, that's not been an uncommon trait for Bumblebee movie Bumblebees.
It reminds me a little bit of the Trailbreaker figure, where his arms are very low to the ground underneath the cab.
Yeah, but that is quite low how they've got that. I think they've sacrificed some of the robot moved kibble storage for having a detailed interior to the car, which I don't think it was necessary, given the back windows are solid.
Yeah, but the front windows aren't. What a weird mix.
Yeah.
Just stop using translucent windows. I've said it before. Hasbro still don't know how to use translucent plastic. Just take it away from them. Don't use it. You don't know how to do it. You don't.
Yeah, and it always ends up in a place where you just think, I don't want this to be translucent anymore because that feels really bad.
Yeah, it's always in a wonky place, or usually in a wonky place.
Or something that's rather critical to the function. But no, but B looks... I like B. I've heard some people say that they don't think he's got a waist swivel, which would be odd. Because
I mean, I'm obviously not there at the show, but it would be weird if he didn't have a waist swivel.
Yeah.
It's 2024, and it's a Bumblebee, so you would expect a Bumblebee to have a bit more money farted into him, so it'd be odd if he didn't.
And it's a deluxe Bumblebee as well, which is probably going to be another one they slot into their evergreen listings as one that will all be on the shelves as long as they can keep it there.
You'd think so. It would be very strange if it didn't. It'd be super disappointing if it doesn't.
Yeah.
They'd need a really good reason. They'd need to have a good reason in the pocket if it didn't have a waist swivel, why it doesn't.
Absolutely. I mean, especially in the studio series. If it was a mainline deluxe or, one of the lower tier film tie-in ones, but the studio series especially.
Yes.
That's the line where you expect to have, bare minimum, you want all the core articulation in place.
Yeah.
And decent robot and vehicle modes. And then everything else is kind of gravy.
Mm-hmm.
If this doesn't have that... I'd actually like to see when it had... I might even pre-order one just because it looks kind of cute.
Okay.
And I think I might have somewhere... Yeah, I've got the SSO1 metallic version because I got it in like a bundle box for like with some other stuff for like 20 quid.
Right.
But I've never really opened it because it always looked too small because it was tiny.
Oh, you do an orange, you being a size queen about it.
Well, maybe, but it felt delicate, and I've got hands that have been sliced to ribbons over decades from building miniatures and handling noxious glues and stuff. So I wouldn't try myself to touch that, especially if it's got any metallic plastic in it. It's more likely to explode in my hands.
Wait, are you seeing your hands look like the guy from RoboCop after he gets the toxic waste on him? Is that what your hands look like?
No, but there are. I have seen my fingerprints on occasion, and well, there are lines in there that weren't there to start with. I can tell nothing.
Okay. You Men in Blacked yourself. Where he gets rid of his fingerprints.
Oh, I've done that more once. I've managed to give myself a chemical peel stripping miniatures on occasion.
Ah, why?
Oh, I didn't wear thin enough gloves, or the gloves had a leak, so some of the stuff got through.
Ah.
Luckily, it was only Dettol, but that stuff, exposed to your skin, can be funky.
Yeah, it's not meant to. You're not meant to wash yourself with it. That's for sure.
No, so I had a few layers disappear.
Oh well.
Hey ho.
A happy chemical peel.
Yeah, but no, I probably of all the things from this particular lineup, this is one I might go for because it's also going to be relatively cheap because it's deluxe.
Yeah. What do you think of the apeling then? Because to me, it just looks like if there is anything retooled here, that's all it is. It's like a reshelling just to make it look a little different. Like the head's different, clearly, for the monkey mode.
Monkey's got a different head. He's got the blades.
I'm not familiar enough with this the original toy, so I'm not.
The robot mode head is that's just different colors than Primal because
it looks like it. It looks the same, but just like you say, different color placement more so than anything.
His shoulder pads are slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, otherwise, it's not an unexpected retool.
No,
to be fair.
No, it's fairly easy for them to do as well, and it makes sense because Apeling was in the movie, granted for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, something like that. So fair enough. Yeah, easy enough to do. Shockwave, it's a repackage, and I mean the other ones like Jazz is a repackage. Like, okay, fair enough. Have we seen? Is Q a redo, or is it the first time we've had new Q? I think it's new, right?
I think it is, because Q's an odd one, because I know because he had a toy for Dark of the Moon, but I don't know if it ever actually got released, or if it did, it was only really limited. Because people were really confused by who it was supposed to be. Because, like you say, the toy said Wheeljack, the film called him Q, and he seemed to exist basically
to die.
To get murked by Soundwave.
Yeah, it's just like Brawl, who was called Devastator for some reason in the first movie.
Yeah. But, I mean, he hasn't quite... his robot mode is true to the model, which means it looks terrible. But, Ironhide looks good, though.
I mean, it looks like Ratchet, but red.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
and,
yeah.
You know, this is what, our fourth version of Ironhide in, like, 6 years?
Oh, yeah, it's a fair point. We have had a lot of Ironhidos reasonably recently in quick succession.
Yeah. And the second Cybertronian version, which is equally weird to realise, to be fair.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, he looks... again, I probably won't pick it up myself, but if you're doing for War and Fall for Cybertron game line, this is for you, because Gava Ratchet's not been a bad figure. Yeah,
I was about to ask, like, I don't know if this mold has been, and Starscream actually as well, have been better received than, like, the Prime and the Megatron, because the Prime was bad. Yeah. Like, you could see from the pictures that was bad, and people who were saying it was good, I think it was just coping.
I have that Prime, and honestly, I still have it, mainly because I don't think I could get anything for it.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to buy an upgrade kit, but honestly, I'd rather just buy that. If I found it again, I'd just buy that 2-pack with Mine and Megatron, based on the comic version.
The IDW version,
because that looks a lot nicer.
Yeah, that's the version that they should have released. That should have been what the Prime originally was, you know.
Yeah.
You know, where it has flaps in its vehicle mode to cover up the hands and the back, which is crazy they didn't.
The thing that hurts is that I have the original deluxe version of that.
Yeah, it's a great figure.
And that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And the proportions are nicer as well.
Yeah, yeah.
This one just had... The head's so tiny and the arms are just... weird.
Beefcake.
But all the other figures since then seem to have gone down relatively well.
Yeah, Orange says, I really dig Ironhide. Orange, do you have is Ratchet out? Is Ratchet out? Or is he not out yet? I don't know. Orange says, surprising amount of new tooling from Ratchet. Is it a surprising amount? I can't really tell. I'll have to take your word for it. I mean, obviously, the head's new.
New head. I think he's got new shoulders. The chest is slightly different, I think. I mean, in fact, there were differences in their robot modes in the original game. They weren't just recolors of each other, so that tracks. But for what is generally just a simple repaint with a new head, it's nice to see they have gone that extra step. So it's not they do give a damn about doing the Gamer Series stuff relatively.
They just have the crappy arm replacement weapon gimmick still, which is kind of a shame.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. And I understand why they do it, because it's in the game, but even how successful it is probably the question.
Yeah. They should take the hint and stop it.
I think it's too late, though. I think you've done like 3, Prime, Megatron, Starscream, Ratchet. So you've done 4 molds from the line already. You can't back out.
Bumblebee.
Oh yeah, Bumblebee as well, and Sideswipe
and Barricade.
Was Barricade? Oh yeah, Barricade as well. Yeah, so we've already got like 6 or 7 molds at this point. We're in too deep. We can't back out.
Yeah, I think I have heard though that for more recent figures, it's not as loose, that connection point. Because I know that was the issue I had with Prime, that the connection, whether it was his forearm or the gun, didn't feel particularly tight.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard it was very wobbly.
I think they've kind of solved that in the later ones. It's just a shame that Prime was that first wave, and the flagship.
Yeah. I mean, because it's Prime, they might do a different one, or they might do the Fall of Cybertron one, and it'll be the makeup version where you go, well, that one's good at least.
Yeah. I mean, the Fall is a somewhat simpler transformation to do, so I could see them doing that and having a bit more to spend on the actual plastic that goes into them as opposed to the engineering side. So,
yeah, maybe.
We shall see.
So that was the Saturday reveals, and then more importantly, we only recently just got the new reveals for today's reveals.
But don't forget Age of Extinction Prime in all his blue-shelled monstrousness.
We don't need to talk about that.
That's fine. I was going to say, we talked about it now, we can carry on.
Yeah, exactly. So as for today, things that were revealed, we got the first look at Age of the Primes. We also got a look at the box, which I know some people will like dissecting, going, look at the 3 Transformers, let's figure out who they are. My opinion, who fucking cares? Who fucking cares? We'll see them when they come out. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the drawings on the side. So the first one is Megatronus, or The Fallen. They also showed off Studio Series 86 Devastator, which we've been tickled about for a while. Specifically, they showed off the Voyager Scrapper and the Deluxe Bone Crusher, and they showed the full prototype combined together version of Devastator. We'll talk about all these in a moment. Full Devastator was shown. Was that it?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yes, that was it. Okay, so what it says for the Age of the Primes, he comes with flame effects parts, which are removable. They're going to be 5mm ports. There's a unique symbol on the arm from Power of the Primes for some reason. Okay.
They gave all the Primes a unique symbol when they did them.
That's what they mean. Dudes. Okay, thank you. I wasn't quite sure what that meant, but that makes sense. There's a suppressor on the nozzle, which is removable. All right. There's going to be
I wonder why there could be a suppressor for an arm cannon.
Who knows? Who knows? There's also going to be a spear and a blade. That's going to have rolling wheels. That's interesting that they mentioned that. I mean, that's good because sometimes I suppose they have done. Well, yeah, didn't they do with? Yeah, I know why this was asked, right? The reason this was asked was because Armada Megatron has no fucking wheels on him for no good reason. Yeah. So even though this sounds fucking stupid to be like, it's got rolling wheels, I guess it's nice to know that it does have rolling wheels. It should just be a given. It's like, it's got an elbow joint, but at least we know. That fine, okay. And the packaging is delicious, says the person who wrote this. I don't give a rat's ass about packaging. I'm sorry.
The actual art of the Fallen himself is quite nice that they've gone for. I quite like that.
It's nice, but I wouldn't go as far as to say delicious for packaging. Like when I say delicious packaging, I think of packaging that you get from premium figures from Japan, or you get for buying a metal Thunderhawk and it comes in a wooden box with a velvet lining. That's delicious, and it's extravagant and unneeded. This is just like, it's nice looking, and like I say, the artwork is good on him. Now, shockingly, people have gone, maybe this is Studio Series Megatron, and people have said that like it's a huge surprise. And it's like, well, yeah, of course it is.
I mean, that was my first thought, because, well, he's big, chunky, has a gun for an arm, and turns into a tank.
Yeah.
Someone pointed out over. There's some stuff on this figure that look a bit more like IDW Megatron.
Well,
so
you got to remember, like
more CGI Megatron first.
I'm not sure about that because you got to remember that more. You got to remember that Studio Series Megatron is going to be heavily tweaked because he's going to have to be a tank because he can't be a gun.
Yes,
because that's how it works. So this might be the transformation scheme for that Megatron as well. People are thinking.
I mean, honestly, looking at it, they're going to need to do some work to the legs.
Yeah,
especially the lower legs, I think, to make it look more. Because they can make him a tank, but they then I think they're going to try and get the robot to look as much like G1 makes as they can.
What I'd say it's going to be the transformation, and then most everything else is going to be retooled, which we've seen before. Yeah. They've done it before with other Transformers. They've justified it.
Honestly, I actually really like this figure. I kind of want one. And if they retool it and the retooling's done nicely, I might double dip. But I've never had any of the third-party versions of the Fallen, so I'm actually kind of stoked to get this character.
Hmm.
So I love filling in gaps in. I'm not as bothered anymore about getting every figure, but if something plugs a gap where there's never been a character before, I'm kind of more for it. It's kind of it's why I've kind of gone in on the Star Raiders and been picking up the Infernac universe stuff.
Right.
As of late, just because they are that little bit different and they're characters I've never really had before. So this is nice. I dig it. And
so I think this is like mostly okay. I think it needs some extra paint apps. It's it kind of gets lost in itself with all of the super dark colors. I don't think using as dark of a purple as they did for me is super beneficial. And if we compare it to say something like the Fallen that Iron Factory did recently, which was called, what was it called? Oh, it was just called The Fallen. It was EX72 The Fallen. It has a similar idea, you know, with the fire on the shoulder pads, but it has a bit more of a imposing silhouette to it rather than this one, which almost feels like a fairly flat silhouette. It's because it's seemingly going to work similar to Megatron. It does have a Megatron silhouette to it, if you understand what I'm saying. My question is, what are they going to turn it into where it's an easy redo, like a simple repaint? You know, because they're going to have to heavily make it, and if it's going to use the transformation to make Studio Series Megatron, it's going to have to redo a lot of stuff. So what's the cheaper option when they just make it a repaint of something?
Ooh, that's tough.
Did they do Banzai-tron? Because then you don't really need to do the head sculpt. The head sculpt's kind of good enough.
He's not had a figure in, ever, has he? They did a Super 7 version of him, but they haven't actually done him.
I think we've had repaints for Banzai-tron. We've had repaints of Banzai-tron.
Yes, we had a repaint of the Bludgeon from Revenge of the Fallen.
Yeah, usually when there's a Bludgeon, they'll mostly do a Banzai-tron out of him. Not all the time, but sometimes. So I could see them doing that here. If you wanted to do a fairly easy retool again, you could do Turmoil from IDW, but he's black as well, so maybe you don't want to stick too close to that. I'm trying to think of tank-like Transformers that would
Turmoil
share this shape.
Does have a different color. I mean, actually, to be fair, new head. They just need to change the color scheme to a pure black as opposed to this kind of like. Because even on the black bits of Megatronus, he has I'm getting a hint of gunmetal and everything. Like it's like a very dark chrome effect more than anything else. But if they went all black and gave him all of Turmoil, because I mean Turmoil did have some spot colors that are different to this.
Yeah, it's like they had little bits of blue on him, if I remember, something like that.
I mean, it would still be effectively a big black tank, but you wouldn't have all the purple for one thing. So there would be differences in there. I could kind of see that. I mean, that is a possibility.
It could also just not be the case. You know, I just threw it out there because it's like, maybe, maybe not.
I could see that being like a part of a Pulse exclusive gift set, like for Mayhem or and the like.
Yeah, shove them in with someone else.
Yeah, or like how they did Nova Prime.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I get what you.
Actually, that probably makes more sense as a way to get a comic character with some unique tooling and a new fresh paint job on a existing leader class. Yeah.
I will say as well for this guy, I don't think you'll have to worry about buying him on sale. Because who is he? Who is the Fallen? If you're not a Transformers fan, who is the Fallen?
That's true.
You know, it's one of those guys. It's why like the entire Age of the Primes, I don't think is going to work super well for what they keep claiming is the target audience, generally speaking. Because the 13 have never really... Whenever the 13 are pushed, it's never very well. It never works out desperately well. And it's not in a lot of media. And no one outside of the Transformers fandom who know who the fuck the 13 are, really. I don't think.
There is that, yeah. I mean, it's probably not a spoiler to say, but this was probably planned to be something to coincide with TF1.
Maybe.
If not in terms of the release schedule, but in terms of brand synergy.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. I can see what you're saying. The problem is this guy doesn't look anything like that Megatronus. Like you might be aware of the name, but the designs are very, very different between the two of them.
Yeah. Although in fairness, Megatronus / The Fallen's had at least 4 distinct designs since they came up with him.
Is this like all the way back from Stormbringer times? Was it Stormbringer? No,
this was Dreamwave.
Dreamwave, yeah, whatever that was called. Age of Darkness? Wasn't it something Age of Darkness?
Within the Dark Age.
That's what it was, thank you. I knew it had dark something.
Yeah, but Second War Within Arc, yeah, because
That's right. That was his first appearance, right?
Yep. He was in Revenge of the Fallen. Megatronus had a unique design in Robots in Disguise, the cartoon.
And now obviously in Revenge of the Fallen, a very different design. Which we don't talk about. Or shouldn't.
Not yet.
No, just never talk about Revenge of the Fallen. Just don't do it. Orange says he has no features for 86 Megatron though. Yeah, not saying that. Maybe they could share engineering. That you must have done that while I was talking about it. Most people don't even spell his name right. Oh, Megatron and then us. Megatronus, not Megatronus. Megatronus. But yeah, there he is. Like you say, I don't think this guy is going to sell out desperately. He'll sell well enough when he first comes out because Transformers fans will just buy it, which is fair enough. I don't think you have to worry about not getting him on sale. I'm not saying he's going to go as hard as, say, like Kingdom Galvatron. I don't think it's going to be that bad, but I don't think it's going to be flying off the shelves at the very least. I do think his like spear and sword combo is okay. It's a little bit awkward, but it's fine. The extra fire effects parts, they're okay. They're all right. They're cute. It's kind of a shame in vehicle mode. They almost look quite flat. Like the ones on the top of the tank turret, they're more designed to be on the shoulders. Here they look quite smushed down. Like it's very condensed kind of. Do you think
they can fit around the front of the turret instead, so they look like more they're being blown backwards? Because that might improve things.
Which ones? You mean the big ones, or do you mean the ones that go on the front of the barrel?
The big ones that fold over your shoulders, and they've got folded over.
No, I imagine they can only go there because it doesn't look like
the sides of the turret.
It doesn't look like there are any ports left for it to go over, if you know what I mean.
No, that's true. But I can see now. That's the ball joints of the shoulders, not the actual ports.
You could rest them there, but I think that's as good of a place. You could probably... You see where the missile launcher is on the back and the weird double nipple thing is behind on the other side? You could maybe put the flame effects there. But I think because of the shape of them, the L-shape angles, they kind of have to go there to fit over those parts of the arms, unfortunately.
A bit of a shame because, I mean, they're new effects parts. That's always fun to see them do.
Yeah, and fire effects parts are always good, to be fair.
Yeah, they're not the same blast effects we've had for every figure since Omega Supreme.
Where those blast effects parts, that get used a lot. To be fair, like Magmatron had a unique blast effect part, and I don't think I've seen those used.
No, since. I think he had the same effects parts as all the other commanders came with.
Oh wow, maybe that's true. I haven't had any of the commanders, I suppose. So
it's just a slightly different color scheme on them. But
fair enough.
All the commanders have had that same set of blast effects.
The ones that almost look weird, bubbly, and lumpy, like it comes from a bubble bath rather than anything else.
Yeah, I have. I think I'm on 7 sets of those blast effects.
God damn. Oh, I guess if you've got all of the commanders, that makes sense.
Well, I also bought that the fossilizer who came with a set, 2 different coloured sets of blast effects.
Oh God.
And I think you got like a full extra set of those effects with him as well.
Oh wow. Okay. Penguin Omega says episode 814. Yeah. This podcast has been going for over 10 years. Oh, well, always with me, but not always with anybody else. Big D hasn't been here for 10 years, have you? I mean, you have been here for 10 years on Earth, just not on the podcast.
Yes.
Nearly got to 1,000.
You are the constant, Andy. You are the Primus of the Moonbase.
I'm the only one who's willing to keep going through stupidity and the stubbornness. The only one, baby.
You have endured through the ages of the world.
It's true. Orange says the, in quotations, the in The Fallen is usually omitted, which is valid, but I get really I think he meant to put down autistic about it. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, sure. And they also Orange also said they were Siege Omega Supreme. Oh, those blast effect parts were with Omega Supreme. Okay, fair enough. I'll also throw out. They mentioned the insignia on his gun barrel. I'm not sure it was a good idea to color it red and put it on a purple, like dark purple gun. Kind of almost gets lost in it, if you know what I mean. And it is just a paint app.
Yeah. I mean, it's cute that, one, they've done it, that they've kept that bit of design from Power of the Primes when they did all the Fallen in mini form.
Sure.
So I actually like the fact we're probably going to get those symbols somewhere on every one of the Primes, which is nice. And I like that they've actually said that this is for Requiem Blaster.
Oh, did they? Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's because I think back in the what was it? That big Covenant of Primus book they did.
Oh yes, with the transforming bookcase.
Yeah. I think that was Megatronus's weapon of choice in that. He wielded the Requiem Blaster.
That's a cute reference. I still stick to the fact that color theory wise, you don't put red on a purple. It's just a bad idea.
It can be a tough one to make it stand out. But.
Make it yellow, like some of the other highlight colors. That would be a better choice, and it wouldn't stick out. I think that would have been a better call.
Or maybe a bright turquoisey color, something that popped, stood out.
Maybe, yeah. You don't want it to be. Yeah, I guess you want it to blend in with the color scheme, but not stick out too much. I mean, if we look at the Decepticon insignia over the years, it's been purple generally, and then it's just been. I think we've had white versions of the Decepticon insignia. But there was a bad choice.
I suspect they went for red purely because red tends to, as a paint app, you can generally get it to cover better than
yellow. Certainly, yeah.
Yellow is a tricky one, especially as a symbol that small. That would have been a real ball bust.
The problem is the color choice was just poor. It just blends in, so I don't know. It just doesn't work desperately well. It's a minor nitpick, obviously, but it is like a bad choice. So in terms of the Constructicons, let's throw out what they said for the Constructicons. 3 waves. Scrapper, Voyager, and Bone Crusher, which is the deluxe, is apparently April. PO tomorrow. Oh, pre-order. I was like, PO? What the fuck do you mean PO? Pre-order tomorrow. Long Haul and Hook are going to be Voyagers. It's going to be a 2-pack Commander class, so that's interesting.
Well, I imagine they're going to come with all the the forearms and the hips to make the combined form.
They're going to come all with all the center mass, effectively, whatever that consists of. Yeah, certainly. That's going to be July. And then Mixmaster, which is going to be a Voyager, and Scrapper, which is a deluxe, will be September. So by this time next year, Devastator will be completely out and we'll all have had it. Well, everyone who wants him will have bought one.
I mean,
They say
that's not a bad release schedule, to be fair.
It's not terrible. It's fairly okay. I think obviously the Commander price point is going to be a bit rough because it always is, but hopefully they'll justify it. I'm sure they will. I think people will be happier paying Commander price point for 2 Voyages than what they did for Motormaster. So there's that. They mentioned they'll have elbows and blasters. Obviously, if you got the combine, like again, it sounds fucking stupid, but if you got the Combiner Wars one, that was an issue. Unless you got the Japanese version, where you did get shitty elbows and blasters, but you did get them. Yeah, exactly. Scrapper Voyager scale due to engineering for Devastator's weight. I mean, that's fucking obvious, right? For weight control and ankles. Assume same for Mixmaster.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have thought that would have been obvious, but I guess someone felt the need to ask that.
I did see a few folks complaining about Scrapper and Mixmaster being Voyagers because they thought
have to be.
Well, no, more in terms of messing up the height because the team's supposed to be all the same height. Then I saw the pictures and I was like, "What are you talking about? They're the same size. It's
exactly.
The Voyager. Get a grip."
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's people that hadn't seen the images. If we're being kind, let's assume that they just hadn't seen the images and they were making assumptions. Otherwise, they were stupid. I don't know what to say.
On the internet, people make assumptions about looking at the full story first.
Yeah, who knows? It happens with everything. So these are EP2s, early versions. Green will change. These are EP2s.
Early prototype 2s.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that makes sense. And then it says early versions. Fine. Green will change. So I guess people weren't happy with the green color on them. Okay, whatever.
I mean, I thought they looked all right, to be honest.
Maybe it looks different in person. You know, with everything, it's like, is it the right color? Hard to say. Depends on the frame that you're looking at. I mean, look at Galvatron. There's like 3 versions of that fucking toy in terms of color schemes. So what can you do? Devastator blasts split apart. Blaster splits apart. Blaster. Sorry, my bad.
Pretty standard. I'm down with it.
Yeah, that's okay. Cool. Height-wise, same as Voyager, Ironhide, and Ratchet. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at Ironhide behind Sabretooth at the moment. Yeah, okay. That's
a decent height. So.
Yeah. Studio Series packaging returning to the Windows style. Wait.
Woo-hoo.
Was it not? Oh, no, it wasn't. Technically, yeah, they had boxes with a hole cut in them, but they didn't have the plastic window. And that's right, Hasbro's moving back to, hey, we don't want our toys to be just pilfered out of the boxes. So, okay, fair enough. Commander set will come with extra pieces to form Devastator and extra value items to make the product worth the price. Okay, yeah, that's what we assumed. We literally just talked about it. We hadn't read that far, clearly.
I'm going to call it now. It will come with that same blast effect they've used in every Commander release so far.
If you could throw in, I'll tell you an accessory that would be fun, but not practical. Maybe not practical, but maybe not essential. How about that? 2 effects parts that aren't essential but would be fun. A hand that turns into a giant drill, like you just kind of clip it over, and a big rock for him to hold.
Yeah.
From that one episode where they thought it was a good idea to drill into the center of the Earth and it would totally not explode.
Yeah.
That would be fun. Also, doing the drill hands would be a nice reference to Devastation, the video game. So, you know, I wouldn't be against that.
I get it's only because it's a Studio Series figure, but it could be fun also if they package in a Prowl Devastator head. But
that could be nice. I don't think it would happen, but it'd be nice.
Honestly, I mainly think that'd be funny just to see reactions of the third-party companies who've already probably been designing one to go to the inevitable upgrade kit.
They'd be interesting to see at the very least. Are aware of folks who had issues completing Menasor. Were there people that had issues completing Menasor? I mean, there had to be. I didn't know that was an issue.
I remember when I finally decided I was going to go ahead and do Menasor, and that was after I picked up Motormaster.
Oh, after?
Because I wasn't going to do it, and then Motormaster got so cheap. It was like, well, let's give it a whirl. I mean, I had it in hand. I was like, oh, this is really nice. I want to do Menasor now.
Yeah.
And at that point, you could get drag strips still fairly easily.
Yeah.
And I think Breakdown had only just come out,
Mm-hmm.
but Dead End and Wild Rider
Yeah.
were Wild Rider. One of those two was really hard to get hold of.
Probably Wild Rider, I think.
I can't remember which one, but I know that because of where they were in their respective waves as well, over the course of the Legacy release cycle, it was not an easy set to do.
Yeah, and you came into it near the end of it, and then tried to work backwards, which is a rough way to go.
It was, and I mean, to be fair, it
was spread out over a longer period of time than this was as well. Oh, this will be. I think that was over a year and a bit, maybe 2 years. Yeah, this is just going to be 1 year, so it should be, like you say, way easier to get them all in one go for the most part.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, it's 5 months between getting the first set of releases and getting the last set.
Which isn't too bad. That's fine.
That's actually pretty good. Yeah. To be fair.
Well, as long as they go into the shops at a, I mean, it's July. I think April is kind to think they'll turn up in the UK in April. To be honest,
that is a tad optimistic. Yeah, but
it'll be a few months apart. A few months later, but it'll still come along. Hopefully.
One, it's nice that they've shown off that they have a plan.
Yes.
And two, it's nice that they've shown off what the prices are going to be.
Yes. We'll get to them.
No one's been stung suddenly by them saying, and by the way, these new Voyager are going to cost this much. And we were going, do what?
Well, unless we get a price hike out of nowhere.
Well, that could happen. But, they've given everyone, they've got an expectation in place. So.
In the UK, it definitely could happen with the budgeting when that comes out. When the government decide to put that out, things might go up in price.
Yeah.
But that's not Hasbro's fault, to be fair. That'll be our government, to be fair. What do they say? If you decide to invest in the first two, we will do all we can to make sure you can complete it. I don't know what they mean by that. That was something that they said.
I think this is referenced later on when they talk about Studio Series moving to 3 waves a year instead of 4.
Oh, okay. It's not like you can do a mail-in order and go like, "Hey, I got these coupons. I'll send you them in an envelope. Send me the other ones."
It sounds like they want to make sure that the whole team are available, or at least available from some outlet, rather than coming and going in a very short time which was the problem with the Stunticons. So
just
think
you could get them all from Ross by like next year on February for like £40 for all of them, probably, because fuck Ross, I suppose. And the last thing is, goal is to get them all out within a 6 months window, which is kind of what you mentioned.
Yeah.
Then it says that we've got stuff for the full grey model of Devastator, slightly taller than Menasor, but way beefier, which makes sense given it's like Voyagers and a couple of Deluxes versus one Commander / Voyager plus 4 Deluxes, so fair enough.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Very G1-esque. What else was it going to be, to be fair? Whoopsie! Mentioned doing combiners in the same calendar year. This for the Seaball future, aka more are coming, ? Well, Silverbolt, so yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
is that a surprise?
We've had the Decepticons, the aerial bots always follow.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we've had they've talked about Swindle. So it doesn't mean it's G1 Swindle, of course, but one might assume it's a Combaticons Swindle. No guarantees, though, but the Bruticus sells, generally speaking. Okay, so Studio Series is moving to 3 waves a year. Oh, this is what you said. 3 waves a year instead of 4. No repacks per wave. Hey! Ironic, because we were just talking about repacks that were revealed on Saturday. It says, if you want to tag into Devastator, only chance at retail is the wave they're released in. Oh. That sounds dangerous. And I say dangerous because of scalpers.
It does, but the fact that they've said that the move to 3 waves instead of 4 is to make sure that those waves stay on shelves longer. That kind of is, I think, counteracting that. So
hopefully,
you have a bigger window to get them in. So
yes, it should work out that way, I suppose. Not planning on doing a gift set for Devastator immediately, at least not in the first 1 to 2 years. So I guess it might be a thing that they do. Yeah, but
Yeah.
not straight away. Fair enough.
I expected that.
I think they mentioned that because I think people were maybe a little bit annoyed by the gift pack for Motormaster that came out relatively soon after Motormaster and all that stuff came out.
Yeah.
Pre-orders tomorrow, 1 p.m. So that'll be, I don't know, today if you're listening to this on Monday. And it also says Naruto and Mandalorian collabs recaps. I'll just talk about that stuff again. So fair enough. So we can look at the stuff now, the images. What do you think of what we see then for young boy Scrapper? Because there are definitely points that I look at and I'm like, it's a shame some of his arms are hollow. They're not as hollow as the Combiner Wars ones, obviously, but there's still points in there which is a little bit disappointing that they're as hollow as they are. But I think generally he looks better than the Combiner Wars one, which 10 years ago, so you'd hope so.
Yeah, I mean, this one doesn't look like you need to fork out for upgrade kits to make everything look better. This looks perfectly fine as is. I mean, the arm, everything actually looks really nice. I mean, like you say, hollow forearms, but that's
hollow shoulders as well.
The forearms I get because his hands do seem to fold in.
Yeah.
So that it's understandable and irksome, but it's not a deal breaker.
No.
I mean, bit of hollowness at the back of the legs as well.
Yep.
Again, not there's a lot of articulation in play.
Yeah, he's got the waist joint that I've said before. I'm not the happiest about visually, but I understand that's just the design that they're going for now. It's not a huge deal. It's just I've mentioned design wise, looks wise, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like he poses well. It's got a nice alt mode. The way that he forms the leg and the way the arms bend to form a decent, stable heel, I like that because that wasn't something you didn't get that in the Combiner Wars version. So
no, he was just balancing on the top of the forearms, right where the fist would fold in.
Yes, he was doing a handstand.
Yeah. Now he's still doing a handstand, but he's using, like you said, more of his forearms, so it gives more of a heel, so more balance. So that's always good.
Yeah. No, I'm actually quite encouraged with this because I wasn't sure about the scaling, to be honest, when we'd heard what they were going to be, how they were going to be doing them. So I am encouraged by the fact that they're putting the Voyager budget into the engineering rather than the size.
Yeah.
So that's nice. I like that.
Yeah, I prefer that. What about Bone Crusher?
Bone Crusher, possibly. Is it fair to say Bone Crusher's got probably the most boring design out of all the Constructicons because he's just green?
Yeah, it'd probably look a little bit nicer if his treads were a different color, but I think that obviously they're going for accuracy, and like you say, what can you do?
That's kind of his thing.
Yeah, that's a lot of green. That's a lot of just green without anything breaking it up. It looks like his I think because of how much green there is, it looks like his entire abdomen to penile region looks a bit too long almost.
Yeah, it looks a little out of proportion.
And I think that's just I don't know whether that's true because I don't have the toy. I haven't seen it in person, but it almost comes across as like an optical illusion because of just the green splurge that happens.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get that out of your brain, then he actually looks quite nice, in fairness.
If you can get his long green penis out of your mind, then he looks okay, says Big D.
Yes. But no, again, like Scrapper, lots of articulation.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, for a combiner, is not necessarily a guarantee, especially in a mainline figure. So,
well, I mean, nice. it wasn't. I mean, it probably should be now, I suppose.
Yeah. I like the fact he comes with a gun, although it seems like he only comes with a gun, which is a slight disappointment. But
that's what they all do. Scrapper just comes with the gun as well. I think
Scrapper comes with part of Devastator's gun as well.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I think it's to be expected that 90% of the stuff is going to come with the commander stuff.
Yeah, but no, I like how they look size-wise together and alongside
Oh,
Studio
we're stupid, Big D. Why does he only come with a gun? Because he's the deluxe price point one.
Yeah,
that's why. That's why he only comes with a gun and nothing else. That's why. Okay. They show him next to Prime. They're all smaller than Prime, as they probably should be. That probably makes Orange happy, I would assume, or angry, I guess. I don't know. They show the box art. I saw people go, "Oh, the boxes are amazing." I said, "You don't really care about them because you're not a mint in box collector." I mean, this is what I thought when I saw those comments.
Yeah.
You know, whenever anybody says, "Oh, the packaging's beautiful," I'm like, "Are you a mint in box collector?" If the answer's no, then you don't really care about the packaging. You'll think it's nice, but then you'll put it in the bin. Which I agree.
But it's going in for recycle.
Yeah. If you're a mint in box collector, you love it. But otherwise, it's just like, yeah, that's nice. And to be fair, I think the packaging's just okay. It's fine. I don't think it's amazing. It's just, yeah, it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and as you mentioned, they got the price points. So obviously, Bone Crusher, $24.99. Scrapper, $34.99. It doesn't show the price point of the Commander set, but that's going to be...
It does in a later picture.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah. I don't know why they did that. Yeah, $89.99, which is what you would expect. And then back to 24 and 34. So, yeah, exactly what you would expect. No real surprises there, I would say. And then they showed off the prototype Devastator. Oddly enough, are those... No, they're different. I think, yeah, generally it looks pretty good. It looks like there's a little bit of gappiness in the chest area. Actually, quite a lot of gappiness. It looks like they're really trying to use the big old purple wing thing to try and hide a lot of the hole in there.
Which, in fairness, has been something that's they've done on Devastators since the original.
Not that much gap, I don't think. There's a lot of holiness.
But it has been used as a part of the way they cover up some of the deficiencies.
Like, if you grab Devastator's gun, you could easily put most of it up in there and, like, waggle it around.
Also fair, yeah.
So I'm not... I think it's hiding a little bit just because of how grey it is. Like, when it's all painted up green, I think that's going to be quite noticeable. I don't mind that he has a belt flap. That's, fair enough, whatever. I think that hollowness in the chest is not great looking, and I'm interested to see... how that looks in the final version of it, because it might be something they fix, it might not. If it's not something they fix, it'll be something a third party will try and fix,
No doubt, yeah.
But otherwise, the articulation looks good, looks fine. I think, it does look like... I think it's probably a general improvement over... the Combiner Wars one. It'd be interesting to see a side-by-side of them, because the Combiner Wars Devastator seemed to me to be made for the Devastator mode, and everything else suffered. But this is having to try and juggle a lot more to try and have a better balance between, all three things that a Devastator has to do. Be a Combine mode, have good robot modes individually, and then those robot modes also need to have at least good to decent vehicle modes as well.
Yeah, that's a fair point, because both versions of CW Devi, they were compromised to get that robot mode, and it is a nice combined mode.
Yeah,
but for individual robots did suffer, and even the United versions where they got elbows and sidearms, the elbows for some of them were kind of functionary.
I think most of the elbows were not great, but at least they were there. They've got him standing next to Motormaster Menasor as well, and things scale wise again. I guess they're probably about right. Devastator, Motormaster, because there's no gap in the chest, looks a bit more solid and complete. But I know some people got a real sand in their pussy over the car bits on the side of the arms. Some people really hated that, and I was like, I don't know how else you were meant to do it, to be fair.
It was fun, to be honest. It was a nice way to get around that problem.
Yeah, I didn't mind it personally, but some people really hated how far they stuck out from the arms. But like I said again, it didn't bother me.
Some people don't like fun.
Well, I think it's not even like they don't like fun. I think it's like there needs to be some concessions when you're doing these kind of things. I will the one thing I will definitely agree with people who had negative opinions on Motormaster of Menasor, I should say, is they shouldn't have made Wild Rider and Breakdown the Combiner Wars molds effectively, but worse, because that's what they were. They had the weird, stupid backpack that could split apart, which made no sense. They were just worse versions of their Combiner Wars form. So it's like, okay, fair enough. And it's a shame because Dragstrip is easily the best of the individual ones by a country mile. Yeah. And then the other three are just kind of mediocre. But I think they formed a decent combiner.
Dead End I actually quite like. Breakdown is technically a better figure than his Combiner Wars version, but he was probably the weakest Combiner Wars mold.
Yes, I would agree. Technically, he was better, but he was using the transformation scheme from Wild Rider, because Wild Rider is the same transformation scheme with a different shell. Breakdown was just using that transformation scheme. So it's a better one, but it's still a mediocre version of a better figure, unfortunately. Dead End had some problems, just like with how the feet worked, like how you transform them. Yeah,
that was a bit of a problem for him, but otherwise, I quite liked him.
It was okay.
Dragstrip was probably the strongest of the limbs.
Easily.
Motormaster.
He was great.
Yeah,
he was great. Really liked that.
I wish they had better ways of using all the bits of bloody trailer though, because.
Yeah, it wasn't maybe the most elegant solution, but it made a decent Motormaster. Sorry, Menasor. Yeah. I keep doing that today. Jesus Christ, Andy. He needed a bigger sword as well. He's got a baby butter knife rather than a sword, which was a bit lame. Devastator-wise, though, like I say, apart from the massive gaps in the chest, which I do think are something that I don't know if anyone else is going to mention that. I'm sure there will be some people out there who talk about these things. But
I'm going to be intrigued to see how it looks colorized, fully colored.
Yes. Yeah, that's the most important thing, because, the colors will either help hide stuff or help highlight stuff, I suppose, depending on how it goes.
But even if that is a downfall of combine mode, I'm happy we're getting really nice individual robots out of this.
I was about to say, I tell you what you can do, Big D, because you have this option. Yeah. You'll be able to display the Constructicons from the Studio Series as their robot forms, because they're clearly better than the Combiner Wars version. And then you can have Devastator and his Combiner Wars version in Devastator mode.
Hell yeah.
There you go. You've got people that have these figures can do the solution. I won't be able to do that because I never got the Combiner Wars one, but that's okay. So if you do own the Combiner Wars Devastator, don't do an Andy from Toy Story and say you don't want to play with him anymore and throw him in the trash bin.
I mean, you can still buy a Combiner Wars downscaled Devastator.
Oh, the knockoff version. Yeah. It's always risky buying KOs. Always.
It is. Fun, though.
It can be. Orange says... and they're Ironhide / Hot Rod sized, all of them. Oh yeah, we mentioned that. Still a teeny head. I don't know whether you mean for Devastator, for the individual robots, or for Menasor. I'm sure it'll look better with colors on it. Yeah, we mentioned that. They'd be in scale like that too. There we go. Yeah, so I guess we'll see. So hopefully it'll turn out good. I think the thing I preferred most about this were the individual robots for the Constructicons, and like we've mentioned, the green is not finalized.
I mean, from the pictures, I quite like that green. To be fair, it kind of fits how I've always pictured Constructicons.
I guess it's maybe a little undersaturated. Maybe you could do with a bit more green color in there.
Yeah, it's a little too on the lime side of.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm not gonna burn Hasbro down for not being like if you look from the CG renders in the packaging from the pre-order page to the real images, I think they're a little bit more colorful in the CG images, the 3D renders. I think that's what they'll go for, to make it a little bit more color rather than almost washed out.
That makes sense. Yeah,
but that's obviously just a guess. And obviously they won't have the product. You know what's funny? Studio Series Prime is out, and yet they've still got the the prototype version as he's got big old numbers on his boob and legs. It's weird. It's not a negative. It's just kind of funny that like it's out and loads of people have got it and loads of people have done reviews on it, and then Hasbro are like taking around the prototype version for shows.
It's probably what they have in the office, to be fair.
Well, it's probably the one that they were allowed to take, or the one that they just grabbed off the shelf and went, whatever.
Yeah.
It just amused me because it's actually out now. Made me smile.
Yeah.
But there you go. Those were the big reveals from the show. We finally got Devastator shown. Me and you were talking before before we started recording, and thought it was kind of weird that London Comic Con had any reveals at all.
Yeah, it's not something you expect to see coming out of London MCM.
No,
to be fair,
and it doesn't feel like it's justified. I would have been perfectly happy these reveals have been done. What was it, last week or the week before?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have minded if we didn't have any reveals this week. I mean, it's good for the show, I suppose, because we've got stuff to talk about that week and this week, but it didn't feel necessary to spread them all out. And I think you would have, I don't know, I think you've got more impact if you've got more stuff to show in one day than spreading it out.
It doesn't help either. Was it advertised in advance they were going to be doing reveals at MCM? Because I don't remember seeing anything.
I remember they said Devastator was going to be held off to this Hasbro Premium event till today. Yeah, but
they hadn't said anything about doing other reveals between last week and this. So it's just
odd.
So weird. Yeah, there's no. Like I said, I didn't see any advertising for it for the Comic-Con reveals, for the London reveals.
That's because you're not a Hasbro Pulse Premium member. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
fucking cheapskate.
I'll try and cover my shame of that, shall I?
Yeah, you got to level up if you want to get the hot info ASAP. I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's why we didn't get any kind of advertisement, because we're not Hasbro Pulse members. I don't know.
That's such a weird set of reveals for the TF line as well.
Yeah.
It was all series and mostly re-releases or.
Mostly. I think it was almost a. I don't think it was. I think it was. I know what you're saying.
It was about half and half. I'm being a bit too harsh there.
Yeah, I understand why you said that, because it does feel like a lot, especially recently when the line that's coming out is just like a repackaged line for Legacy, at least, is what I mean.
Yeah.
So I get it. I understand why you say it.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's weird. I mean, they didn't even show that much for G.I. Joe or for Marvel or for Star Wars, but we'll talk about them at the end of the show as well, because why not? It just felt like why are we showing stuff now? And why is there only like 3 or 4 reveals for everything? I don't know.
You know what it felt like? It felt like they got told prior to PulseCon they needed to save some stuff for New York. By the way, we're going to go to London, so we need some shit to show off there as well.
But we don't show off anything out in London usually. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. So the team kind of had to scramble to work out how to split the reveals up, because honestly, this feels like stuff they should have revealed either at New York or during the PulseCon thing.
I'm not saying this is guaranteed, but I wonder if there's a new marketing dude that says, marketing-wise, it would be a really good idea to spread these a bit more. And the team is like, but we're already thin. We can't spread this any thinner. It'd be ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's nice to have stuff revealed at London, but it's just came so out of nowhere.
That's weird.
Because MCM's not that sort of show.
No.
Not in my experience.
No.
I've been to it. I've watched special anime screenings, and there's brilliant cosplay shows, and you've got a great artist alley, and you can get some brilliant finds on the retailer stands. But it's not where you go for
reveals.
Toy industry. Not for the toy industry,
No.
certainly. That's more, London Toy Show.
Yes, that makes sense. It's a toy show, so you would expect that to happen there.
Yeah.
Not like MCM.
So, you don't think someone at Hasbro got themselves confused?
I hope not, because I can't remember when London Toy Show is. It's like early in the next year?
Actually, it is, yeah. It's early in the year. So.
Yeah. Maybe they did. Maybe it is. It's like London, fuck it, just put the toy thing out there. But so it's meant to be early next year. Fuck it. Okay. Orange says they said they'd show some Age of the Primes, but they didn't say what. Okay, well, there we go. Oh, that's right, yeah, because me and Orange was suggesting maybe they just show box art. We got one figure revealed, so that's something. In other news, we've got Richard McJet. I don't know. We got Richard. I'm not going to try and say the name. Richard, who's going to be attending Baltimore TFCon. He is he used to do G1 Transformer art packaging, such as Predacons, Headmasters, Target Masters, Power Masters, Seedcons, Pretenders, to name a few. And he's going to do a Q&A. Sorry, I look at your name, but it confuses me. And things that I don't understand, I fear. So, we'll move on. We've also got Manny Gallen. I said that name right again. Fear. It consumes me. Manny Gallen has done Transformers Generation 2 comic book art. Oh, okay. And manager of Transformers commercials. Oh, the commercials and shorts from Hasbro from 2013 to 2019. Oh, that could be quite interesting to ask him about the production of not cartoons, commercials. I think commercials have changed drastically from the 80s and how they were done to obviously how they were done in the teens, I suppose. Yeah, but still, that could be quite interesting to talk to him about that.
And that artwork on the G2 comic it's very distinctive.
Yeah, it's fun. It's very weird.
And it doesn't feel like most other books of the period.
No, but yet it still feels very 90s at the same time.
Very much so.
Yeah, ouches.
And I think the other guy's surname is Magic.
Okay, I'll take that. I have no idea, so I'll go with that. Good enough for me, baby. So in terms of G.I. Joe stuff, they showed off the Nemesis Enforcer, or as they call it, Nemesis Immortal, as he's called now. So they showed off a few images of him. He's got a weird snake backpack, which he can stick to his back. Got some weird swords and a new head sculpt, and a few new hands as well. Shows how the wings work. Still not a guy I would ever want to buy, because I don't care about Cobra La, but I think it's a decent reimagining, kind of updating version of him. Because if you were going to imagine G.I. Joe had a live action movie in the 80s, what they would have done is they would have got Kevin Nash, they would have got him in a lycra spandex suit, and then they would have just added some plastic bone things onto the side of his arms and some plastic wings to his back, and there would have been jobs done, because that's what the design was like. This looks a bit more impressive.
What they would have done is dug out the Super Shredder outfit that Kev wore in TMNT 2 and just file off some of the spikes.
Yeah, that would have worked too. Yeah, that could have worked too, to be fair.
Yeah. It is nice to see the old Nemesis getting a figure. So I think it's only, second figure after the original line?
Probably. I can't imagine they go to Cobra Lab too frequently.
It's surprising a lot of time, though, because the Skybound comics have worked Cobra Island quite nicely, and Nemesis had a bit of a co-starring role in the Cobra Commander book.
Oh, okay.
That recently ended, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think all the organic detailing and everything like that is done pretty well, and the wings look quite nice. The actual wing part doesn't have a huge amount of articulation, but it seems like they're on two joints to be like bat arms, so the arms work, but the actual wings don't.
I mean,
themselves
the wings do look a little on the small side, I would say.
I would agree.
Got much of a wingspan to them.
They're not exactly what I would imagine. From the original Nemesis Enforcers, wings to look like. These are redesigned.
His wings normally the actual body of the wings extends right up to the ends of the arms next to his torso. These are a bit more stylized.
Yeah, they're bat wings, and that's fine. Yeah, it works.
And it's cute though, he's giving him that weird spider octopus mind thing that they used.
Yeah, that looks like the special anti scene where everybody gets juiced up in jelly and the tentacles come out.
Yes, another reason why Cobra La is just weird, because you wonder what they were smoking when they came up with those ideas.
They saw they saw the Mountains of Madness and went, "We'll just do that with G.I. Joe." I guess why not?
Yeah.
They did for some reason on his tank. they haven't shown the other two like CG reveals, which were barbecue. As I'd bring them up, but they're not here. They showed off barbecue, and they showed off a Fang Viper. I think they called it. Is that right?
No, it's Frag Viper.
Oh, sorry, the Frag Viper. I saw F and thought Fang. Yeah, the Frag Viper.
I had a Frag Viper back in the day. That was such a bonkers figure because he had one of those. It's one of those scoop things that you use in there's this like a squash court game where you use one of those to fling the ball around and catch it.
Oh yeah, it's like a spoon, isn't it? It's not a spoon, but it's like a spoon.
But it was fed from if it was fed grenades from his backpack.
You know what it is? It's the thing from Tron.
Yeah, that's not a bad. Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know how, like, if you've not seen Tron, I don't know how to describe it better. It's the big scoopy thing from Tron.
Yeah,
not the frisbee.
It was always fun just because it's a great way to lob a grenade even further, especially if you're a dedicated grenadier.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I could see that.
And the Vipers got really weird towards the end, so it's nice to see them dipping into the
good by the end.
They got weirdly good by the end.
Nah, just good. You don't need to prefix it. It's just good. It's not a Viper I saw and thought it's a must-have for me. And obviously, Barbecue's a really good one to get in there. He's a quintessential G.I. Joe, and he's got a really nice bright color scheme. I'd show you the images, but his tank doesn't have them, and fuck that. I'm not going through Twitter to find them. Fuck that noise.
I am surprised they hadn't done him before, to be honest.
Same, to be honest. They had done the firefighter G.I. Joe dude, whoever he's called.
Yeah,
with the mask on him.
That's just like a generic firefighting.
No. They did the other one. He comes with a fire axe. I can't remember his name. It's not Barbecue. It's someone else. This is the problem with not knowing G.I. Joes.
I used to know all the Joes, so I've got no idea who you're talking about.
Nah, they did another fireman G.I. Joe dude, but I don't know who it is. For Star Wars, they showed off the VC. Jedi Knight Ford Ferrari Fandar. I don't know who Ford Ferrari Fandar is. And TVC Obi-Wan Kenobi Jedi Legends. And also TBS Savage Opress. I know that one. Yeah. I was there. And for the Marvel side, they did an overview of the Sentinel, which we already know about. I don't think they talked about reducing the UK price, so whatever. Yeah. Brand New World Captain America, so it's the live action movie. So who gives a shit? Deluxe / with wings. Oh, that's right, because it's not Captain America, it's Falcon, but he's Captain America, quote unquote. And it's like, no, it's not. Never. I was like, Bucky's not even Captain America. Bucky was an okay fill-in for Captain America, but he wasn't great fill-in for Captain America.
I mean, they've managed to keep Sam as Cap alongside Steve now for about 6 years in the comics.
He's just a dude with pigeon wings. He shouldn't be Captain America. Be like making me Captain America. Be like, no, don't make me Captain America. Who the fuck am I? Oh, you're Andy. You can hold the shield. It's like, no, I die. I'm just a man.
Well, for one thing, you're from the wrong country as well.
Oh, I could be Captain America UK man. I could be Captain Colonizer man. I could be they could call me the Red Coat. Ooh, that'd be cool. That's a good name. The Red Coat's coming. I'm like the Red Skull, but I'm British.
Do you want to hear something mildly depressing? There is actually a character in comics at the moment who is called the Red Coat.
Oh.
And he was a Red Coat during the Civil War. He's an immortal soldier.
Oh no, immortally British.
Yeah.
That means he's had bad teeth forever. Poor guy. Oh no. They're also doing Brand New World Red Hulk. I don't know why it says oversized, because it's the Hulk, so it'll be normal sized for the Hulk. It doesn't mention if they might have said this in the thing. Is the body book new for it? I think it might be.
I think it might be as well. Yeah.
So if that's the case, that's good. We'll obviously talk about these individually when we get to them once I finish reading the things. And then there is Brand New World Falcon. What's that? Oh, I thought that was... Oh, I don't know who that is. Okay, it's now a white guy playing Falcon. Okay. I was stupid. I thought this, because I didn't look at it too closely. What?
You thought it was did you think it was Sam?
No, I thought it was Vulture. I saw it was a white guy, and I saw it. I saw the color scheme was green, and I thought it was because I didn't see that it was branded with New World. I assumed it was just going to be like the MCU version of the Vulture from Spider-Man. Blah 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 blah. What was it called? Homecoming.
Yeah,
but no, it's white guy version of Falcon. Whoever.
Yeah,
this
is the MCU version of a character they introduced in the comics years ago now to be Sam's sidekick.
So they re-swapped Sam's sidekick to be to White Falcon and Captain America to now be Black Captain Falcon. That's weird.
Well, this one at least they've kept more in theme because the comics version has ended up as like a mutate. So he was modified to have Falcon genetics.
What?
Whereas this version's more like Sam, or like Sam, literally like Sam. He's a Spec Ops dude.
They mutated him. Did he do that by choice? Was he like, yeah, give me the Falcon genes?
It wasn't by choice. So he's got big bird-like eyes and claws and talons. Yeah,
that sounds so stupid.
And he actually has wings as opposed to a flight pack.
That sounds so stupid.
It's an odd one. He's not a bad character. It's really weirdly written. So, but no, they introduced the character to the MCU in the Falcon Winter Soldier TV show.
Okay.
So, I'm not surprised that he's in the film. So.
Let's start off with Star Wars. So we're starting off with this is the really lame dude from the Acolyte. I know that doesn't really narrow it down, but this guy who got naked in one of the episodes, which again, oddly enough, doesn't narrow it down because there was two dudes that was naked in the Acolyte.
That's a fair point. He's one who got naked first and has the abs.
Yes, he. Well, the Sith guy's got abs too, doesn't he?
Actually, no, that's a good point. Yeah, they both do. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember all the girls like getting, at least on Twitter, getting moist over that for some reason, which was funny. And did he hear the audio? The audio description of that scene where she looked at him naked in the pool?
No.
The audio description is hilarious. Hilarious. It's it makes the scene seem a lot more sexual as well. Also, she did look at his cock. She did look at his cock. Like her eyes flick down. So that's interesting. But yeah, it's the first dude that gets I don't know his name. It's this guy, Big D. Do you care?
It's nice to see him in this scale.
Okay. Not sure how his face has turned out. He kind of looks really depressed.
He's a Jedi, that tracks.
I'm not sure how accurate it looks to the dude though. I don't know. I don't know him well enough. He also comes with a cloth robe, so that's cool, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I like seeing them do stuff in multiple sizes so that people have options. And the vintage collection is a nice way to get things. So. Oh,
are these the 4 inches? Are they?
Yeah. These are the smaller ones.
Okay, that might make sense why he looks a bit weird. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. What's this Obi-Wan Kenobi from?
This is from the end of the Kenobi TV show.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, is this where he runs away from Vader like a coward? Which is really funny to see.
No, that's midway through the show. This is after he and Vader have had another set too, and he's kind of. It's Obi-Wan having gotten through most of his depression.
Okay. Fair enough.
Which they symbolise by having him dressed mostly in white, which is a bit on brand, but okay. Does
he not go back to beige like when he becomes Ben Kenobi though?
Well, they put him in the sort of robes that you can imagine eventually go that colour. But this is him when he goes off to build his hut.
Are you saying that he should have used still a bang or Persil to keep his clothes white and fresh?
I mean,
his clothes just decolored over the years.
I mean, it's hard keeping stuff clean in the desert.
Oh, that's really sad. I'm sorry, Ben. Your robes turned like brown. Look, he's an old man. Maybe he just kept shitting himself and his robes got brown over the time. Who knows? No shame as a desert hobo. So they're coming out apparently in summer. next year, if you want them, you can pre-order them. Savage Opress, I know Savage Opress because he was in the Clone Wars series. He was Clancy Brown, right?
Yep.
Is this a Black Series figure?
No. Oh no, yeah, it is Black Series. Yeah.
Okay, so is this one you'll be getting because you get the Black Series stuff, right? Or do you
I'm
not care
sure.
enough?
Well, I do like Savage. He's an interesting presence.
That's good. I'm glad you said that rather than character. Yes, I would agree. He's an interesting presence. He looks cool as well.
He does.
He's got a good look.
I probably won't, mainly because I don't have much or anything really from the Clone Wars into Black Series. I'm kind of focused in on the Mandalorian range. But he looks good. I do like how the Black Series, they go about translating these animated designs into what's more of a live action aesthetic.
What's his articulation like? Because he doesn't have double elbow joints, and he clearly doesn't have double knee joints either. Is that a standard for the Black Series to not have double elbow joints and knee joints? Because he does. He definitely doesn't.
I think so.
So that's a standard.
Most of my Black Series stuff is still boxed because I don't really have space to do much else with it.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that kind of looks for standard, unfortunately.
That's weird. One thing I'll give it credit for, I like the fact that his skirt is a cloth material. Apart from his front skirt, like his cock covering one, the fancy one with the detail, the one behind that is all cloth. So it means that's not impeding his articulation at all, which is great.
Yeah, it's weird though. There's no consistency in the Black Series, Matt, because
same with Marvel. There's no consistency with cloth goods generally across Hasbro.
Boba Fett in his current appearance, where he's wearing basically all black underneath his armor. Yeah, he has like a long robe.
Yes. That's plastic. It shouldn't be.
It's plastic, whereas the vintage collection version is cloth.
Oh, really? Oh, that's weird.
Yeah,
okay.
Which is really annoying because you can't. It's a really nice figure. There's actually a lot of really nice detail, ironically, because you got his armor underneath the robes, but you can't do anything with it because you can't move that bloody sculpted plastic cloth they put around his hips. It's so weird.
Oh well, fair play.
But
I'm sure Hasbro has its reasons. Who knows what they are, but probably
God
budget,
knows.
I would imagine. So he's coming out in summer next year if you want him. They showed more images, as mentioned, of the Sentinel, which I'll begrudgingly buy. I won't be happy about it, but will be because I want it, as mentioned last week.
Take my money. Be gone with you.
Yeah, I'm not going to be. They showed an image of the whip with him, but I don't know obviously what they said about said whip because I didn't watch the video. Who do you want to talk about first? Captain Falcon, Falcon, or the Hulk? Who would you prefer to talk about, BT?
Let's go with Cap.
All right, so Captain America. Where are the images for him? What do you think of young Falcon Man? I will say I do like the fact that he has multiple joints in his wing and he can do the really awful scene from the Captain America TV show where he's able to deflect a helicopter with them, which wasn't hilarious.
You mean the Batwing thing?
Yes.
The Bat thing. Just before Bat thing.
Yeah. What a stupid scene.
I kind of like it. It's interesting because it's more like they've taken Cap's costume from the first Avengers film.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit of the look from Steve's Winter Soldier uniform. Rather than the look Sam had at the end of the Falcon Winter Soldier show.
Yes, this is a nicer outfit. It does look more like Captain American-y kind of deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a shame because I thought the other one, it gave Sam his own look.
Mm-hmm.
Still Captain America, but distinctly Sam. But this one I don't dislike. I like that they've given him a helmet for if he needs to
go to space or just super duper high, right?
I think it's for when he's able to go supersonic now with his wings.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm sure that's in one of the trailers. They show a shot of him just with the Doppler effect. He breaks the sound barrier.
Mm-mm.
But no, it looks fine. It's a Legend series action figure that's not got too much impeding the actual figure part of it. So it'll be nice to pose. The fact that you haven't got to buy 5 other figures to get his wings is nice.
Yeah, you are going to be playing the deluxe price point for it, so.
Yeah, but I mean, you get the wings, you get the shield, and like you said, the wings are articulated, which again is
multiple
not
points. How many points is it?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. At least 3, maybe 4, if there's another joint on the backpack. So that's a lot more than I would suspect. Like Angel has 1 joint for his wings. And it makes them look very stiff. They're nice in terms of sculpt, but you can't do a lot with them.
It looks like they have got a 4th joint on the back of the wings.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Close to a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
There's in one of the later pictures. So that's nice.
Yeah, he seems to come with an okay amount of things, generally speaking, for deluxe.
Looks like you're getting a unmasked head.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting different arms as well.
Arms? I don't see the arms.
It looks like he has 4 arms with the sleeves rolled up partly.
I don't see that on the table. They just show him with
in one of the later pictures. Oh no, it's because of the early pictures I couldn't tell that his arm.
You mean his forearms?
Yeah. Sorry, that's my mistake. I didn't see that in the earlier pictures.
Yeah, he comes with a head, as an extra set of open hands, the wings, obviously, the shield, a backpack piece, I guess his drone. So that's 6 things. So that's all right. That's fine.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's fine. I guess we could talk about normal Falcon now, not Birdman Falcon. Feels like they took a lot of the technology from Captain America Falcon and just kind of changed it over. It feels just like the same figure, which is like, oh, fair enough.
I mean, it makes sense because this version of Marvel Sam's gear was a military rig to start with.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to have someone else be able eventually to use the same kit. So a little bit smaller in look, but again, the actual. I get what you say about it does look a bit Vulture-like. I'm sure there'll be more than a few people buy this guy to do Vulture customs of.
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah. Because these wings are different from Captain America's wings, but they are way more articulated than the wings that come with Vulture in the VHS cartoon set, which I think were just pinched from Falcon from a previous figure, ironically.
Actually, I tell you what, do you remember, they don't appear very often, but there's an off-brand team of Vultures in the Marvel Universe.
No, I don't know them.
Yeah, they're led by a former cellmate of Adrian Toomes who kind of got the location of one of his lockups.
Okay.
And robbed it and basically kitted out like a 5-man team, all with their own version of Vulture's wings.
Oh, why not, right?
But with like I think they're all wearing like a red. So they're all done up in red with gold or silver on the feathers.
Okay.
And I can't remember if they're called the Vultures or the Peregrines or some. They got
Peregrines? Oh my god!
Yeah, they're not even D-list villains. They're borderline hilarious because they tend to show up when Vulture's on the outs and get their ass kicked in quick order. Yeah,
ain't no way you name yourself the Peregrines. Ain't no way.
But I could see someone buying a load of these versions of Falcon to recolor as that team very easily, in fact. So
yeah, he does kind of look like a jobber background kind of figure. I assumed this was like a generic army dude rather than an individual character for the movie. Obviously, I haven't seen the movie, so I was just making an assumption.
I mean, it looks like because they did introduce the character in Falcon and Winter Soldier, he didn't use the wings at that point. He was just like Sam's ground support.
Okay.
Man in the chair. But it makes sense for if they've not got Bucky in this film, give Sam his dedicated sidekick from the comics.
Sure.
And have him use the wingsuit. That makes a lot of sense. So not the most inspiring figure, but it it hits all the right notes. It's got decent articulation. It's got articulated wings.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you're paying that deluxe point, but again, you're not having to buy the wings separately.
No.
So,
and it's I don't think it's got as much significant accessories. But it looks like the accessories are fine. They don't really do a super close-up shot of what he's got, but I generally think it's not as impressive looking as Captain America's stuff. It's got the wings, he's got the drone, he's got a backpack, he's got another head, and he's got one set of hands. So it's similar, but it's not exactly the same. And then there's Harrison Ford Hulk, which I don't think the head sculpt's very good.
It is weird as hell.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good rendition. I think the kind of grimacing face is okay, but the standard kind of flat non-expression looks pretty weird, I think.
There are some odd... I'm not sure if it's the paint or just the way it's been sculpted. But
I think it might be the sculpt.
At least it looks like it is a new Hulk body, so that's different.
It's not too bad, yeah. It does look like he's wearing a little bit like granny panties. Like they're very high up on him. It's not the worst. He's almost kind of taller and thinner than I would think for a Hulk, you know. In terms of accessories, he has fists and hands and an angry face, so he doesn't come with a huge amount. But he's a big figure, you know. He's a big boy, so that's kind of usually how they justify these things. They're saying that Odin comes with quite a lot, and he'll probably be similar in scale and articulation. So I don't know. Yeah, in person, the non-grimacing face looks even weirder. The CG renders make it look a little bit better, but the real versions of the unfinished versions, I assume, the grimacing face also looks a bit strange as well. So yeah, I don't think he's turned out desperately well, but the body buck might be useful for the future, assuming, because both you and I are not fully aware of like Marvel line stuff, so maybe it is already using a previous body buck. I'm not sure. It might be brand new.
Possible, but
yeah, I don't know. But there you go. That's everything they showed.
They got a couple of extra renders as well. So we got Norman Osborn Iron Patriot.
Yeah, that's already out.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Oh, maybe they're doing an individual release of him. Because, I've got him. He comes in the Cabal 3-pack with a Doctor Doom and a Taskmaster. Okay. So maybe this is an individual release. I don't know why they're just showing it on its own.
What about what they're calling Warbird, but is the Dark Avengers Miss Marvel, a.k.a. Moonstone, wearing Carol Danvers' old costume?
That's right. Yeah, that was the quote-unquote big reveal, I suppose, for the non-movie stuff. So that seems to be picking up Ms. Marvel body book and holding it up to the screen. I think it is just effectively a repaint of the Warbird / Ms. Marvel mold that came out this year, I think.
Of the black swimsuit version.
That's right, yeah, which is the one I have. I think even the head that they're using here is one, because she came, like the Ms. Marvel came with two heads, one to look like Warbird and one to look more like the original Ms. Marvel, how she was drawn, and I think it's the same head again. So I think it's a basic repaint, which makes sense.
This version is literally Carla Soffen just cosplaying as Carol Danvers.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, this is a lot better than the Moonstone figure that came out, because it's the newer body book, so it's a lot better.
Yeah.
And it's a decent looking figure. I guess you could just use it as... I don't know how accurate this is to retro Ms. Marvel. How accurate is it to super retro?
Accurate. It's accurate to the Dark Avengers look they went for. Because basically they tweaked the costume. So the original Ms. Marvel outfit was basically...
Was it blue? Was it black?
No, it was these colors, but they colored... Because of how they colored comics back in the day, the black... was often coloured as blue.
Ah, okay, so I was right. Okay.
So the black is pretty much spot on, although it looks darker than most prior interpretations of the character would have looked.
Right.
But they've made it a full bodysuit, whereas the original version, it's basically like effectively a pair of bikini bottoms with then from just below her rib cage, that's all, and including her arms, is all her costume.
Right.
The original Miss Marvel costume is very odd.
She had. All I remember is she had very big hair, as well.
Yeah, the shift to the black suit after she was that? Yeah, the black suit was after that, and then Rogue happened, and she became binary, and then back to Miss Marvel / Warbird, then Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Although there was a weird period where she also wore like a body armor suit because she worked in a superpowered prison at one point.
Oh, okay.
Very, very weird period, but it wasn't a bad look for her.
Sure.
But no, this is a great interpretation of that character. I love that they're putting out the Dark Avengers.
Yeah, I think they've got most of them now. I think they need to. I mean, they probably should do a new female Loki because the old one is using the old book and probably isn't very good. Probably have a new update. Draken, they could, an excuse to put out another Wolverine effectively, but with new hands, whatever.
Draken's got scope for a few versions, to be fair, because
I thought the version that they had for the Dark Avengers, which was just the brown Wolverine suit, effectively.
Well, there's the Dark Avengers, which was just the brown and tan Wolverine suit.
Yeah.
He then had.
Well, I think since we're doing the Dark Avengers, that's the one that they put out.
Yeah.
So that's the one that.
I was just thinking in terms of the character and potentially what they could do. But
Namor,
yeah, I mean,
they could do with a new Namor. I don't think they've had a new Namor for a long time. I think that's like, who are the Dark Avengers?
The Dark Avengers were Scorpion wearing the Venom symbiote.
Oh yeah, Mac Gargan Venom. Yeah, that's a character they could do as well. Yeah.
Although that is literally just a black suit Spider-Man at that point.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, so I don't know what. Yeah, technically the symbiote Spider-Man is coming out for Secret Wars, so I guess technically you could just use that.
Yeah.
Unless you just wanted to do like when he goes sometimes out into Venom form, which sometimes he did.
There was Ares.
Oh, a new Ares figure wouldn't be too bad either, because he's quite an old mold.
Yeah. I've always had a soft spot for when they gave him that superhero redesign.
Well, with the body armor and the Spartan head helmet. Yeah,
because the Marvel version of the Greek gods always suffered from not having been touched much in terms of design.
You mean like Hercules, who looks like he's just out of the 70s?
Well, I mean, Herc's had some good looks in recent years.
I mean, his classic look is kind of the one I know, and I don't really know of any other, because that's the one that's been most publicized, I think.
But, I mean, that is his classic look for a reason. But they post Incredible Herc, when he took over the Hulk book for a while, they did look at giving him some updates and playing with the character a bit. And much like Ares got a modernization, Herc has some nice tweaks. The rest of the Pantheon have always been a bit trickier, because whereas the Asgardians had that lovely Jack Kirby design to build off of, the Greek Pantheon never really had. They were always a bit more woolly. None of them really had iconic interpretations. It's why they were able to do what they did with Ares, to give him that glow up, to make him look, especially as he'd come off a cracker of a miniseries.
Yeah.
The rest of the Greek gods in Marvel have always been a little bit ill-defined. I mean, they did make an effort a few years ago. They shifted the Greek pantheon. They resurrected them as much more of a cosmic force, so not earthbound anymore. They made them into. They played more into the alien side of their species,
right?
And shifted them all that way. And they gave Herc an update as well, to a similar look. But again, there wasn't really enough there to call it iconic in the same way as the Asgardians have their iconic looks.
Okay.
Because you think about all the Asgardian Marvel gods, whenever they've had updates, it's normally always played into what came before.
Yeah, yeah.
So even during when we had the big when Thor returned after Avengers disassembled, and they went all in to bring all the Norse gods back, they just tweaked what had come before. They took the original designs. They all had the same silhouettes, effectively, just modernized, which it's not as easy to do that for the Greek pantheon in Marvel, unfortunately, which is a shame because it makes them always feel like they're coming off as second string to the Asgardians, which is actually
the Asgardians have Thor, so it kind of makes sense. Like Thor's one of the big hitters, at least in Marvel. So
it makes sense.
Yeah,
but it's an interesting thing to spitball. So sorry for the tangent there.
That's fine. One thing I did notice about the Moonstone Ms. Marvel figure is it seems like the torso and the upper body are going to be the new Ms. Marvel stuff, maybe because of the ab crunch joint, but it looks like the legs are different. The legs look more slender than the Ms. Marvel I've got on my desk, and the hip cut or the cut for the thigh swivel for Ms. Marvel is closer to her knee than it is to the top of her thigh, which it is here, and it looks like the shins are shorter than the Ms. Marvel I have. So it looks like they might be using the older legs, but the newer torso, maybe.
Oh, that's
so she might be a little bit smaller in terms of height, which I guess would make sense.
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting way of doing it to get across that it's not actually the same character, but it's a different person wearing the costume. So
but this is obviously a CG render as well, so that could change. Obviously, it's just, and again, I'm not a Marvel Legends expert, so this is me just poking the bear. Orange says, I've never had a Harrison Ford action figure. I think I might pick this guy up in terms of the Hulk. Okay. I mean, Hasbro did do an Indiana Jones.
Yeah, those indie figures they do look quite nice, to be fair.
I don't think they sold desperately well. I know In-Demand Toys is selling them pretty hard.
That's the shame, but they're lovely figures, but Indie's never really been a big merch mover, not in action figures.
I mean, this is like 2024 is not the year to sell Indiana Jones merch.
I mean, indie merch never really. If there was more of a history of it, it might have a better chance of digging into the nostalgia way, but Indiana Jones hasn't.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of that's like decent indie merch for like action toys is like Lego.
Yeah.
And even the Lego Indiana Jones stuff didn't go that long, relatively so. It was a pretty short-lived Lego line for the most part.
And the thing is, the indie figures they've been putting out over the last few years are not bad in any way. They're actually really quite nice figures as a rule. They're nicely detailed, lots of accessories, Disney articulated. They look like the characters from specific moments of some really iconic movies.
I have to take your word on it because I haven't heard the quality on them personally, so I don't know.
This is just what I've heard and my impression of them, having seen some of them.
Sure.
Not actually handled any of them, but it's just an odd one that it does feel a bit like they're trying to make it a thing in the action figure collecting world when it's never really been one. So it's a bit of a shame because,
and again, like we say, a weird time to try and push it, especially when the Indiana Jones movie, was it this year, the last one that came out, or was it last year? Either way, it was a massive bomb because it was fucking terrible. So it's not like, if you want a marketing push, this was not the movie to kind of bounce from.
And the last time they tried to do action figures was for Crystal Skull,
which that was a fucking terrible movie as well.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, that was all of the news then for this week. Bit D, what have you been up to this week? You got anything for any fun stuff?
I'm just sharing you pictures. I've just been building, really. To be fair, I've not been out much recently, so I've been working on my backlog. A few kit bashes, a few minis from various sources that have come through I've been working on. A little bit of reading, catching up on stuff. Got through some BattleTech novels.
Oh.
I've got the latest Peter F. Hamilton on standby, and I'm trying to get through my backlog of Warhammer books because it keeps growing, and I keep forgetting to get to any of them.
Oh my god, the heat is on.
Yeah, I need to, because Swanee wants to know what I'd make of the Cursed City book and of Fall of Cadia and Death Wilder. So I'm
pretty sure I listened to the Cursed City audiobook, but I don't remember anything about it. Just and granted, a very good sign. I don't think it's meant to be terrible. It's probably just fine. But I don't know. Like I say, it's been a while since I listened to it.
Well, I want to get to it, so that's probably my next week. Is just going to be trying to read and get through stuff. But otherwise,
Who wants to read when you can audiobook?
Well, I audiobook when I'm working on stuff, but I like to read.
Lame nerd.
I can read faster than I can listen to an audiobook.
Oh, well, you should put your audiobooks on 2 times speed then. Like the kids. I'm sure the kids do it in this day and age.
No, that's silly, Andy. Why do I want to do that?
Because you hate yourself. I don't know. I don't know. You want to get through books quickly.
I don't want to listen to them in a silly voice. Well, no sillier than the VA is willing to do.
True.
But no, I've done some kit bashes. I've had a mess around with some inquisitorial acolytes using some of the Sigmar hooded guys from the latest starter set.
Yes.
I had through the, there's that Dark Oath character who had a book back when the Dark Oath had their big release, and they did a box of his followers.
No, like but I will say yes.
It's like they've been doing this with like Gaunt's Ghost and the guys from the Kaz and Toll books and Black Talon. They do a character unit based on a particular book.
Mm-mm.
So I got those, and they were fun to build. Dug into the backlog, so I found. I did one of the many Kickstarters I've done over the years was for some terrain from Archon Studios, part of their Rampart line.
Okay.
And it came with a bonus box, and one of the minis was kind of commissar-like, so I built her, and she's a little small as a jump pack Space Marine literally towers over, which is as he should do, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
She was a fun little build for a non-GW mini. It fits in quite nicely, actually, as an Imperial Guard officer. And I finished off a nice big Space Wolf Terminator conversion.
Nice.
Yeah. Always enjoy a nice kit bash, and this one involved quite a bit of just trying to make things fit properly. So, yeah, always fun. Otherwise, not much. I'm still watching Dan.
Yes, yeah.
I've
watched one episode of that so far. I need to get to the rest at some point, but I'm happy to let more episodes build up before getting to it,
That's perfectly understandable. I need to get to more of the other stuff this season, because I've fallen a bit behind, but that's, again, to-do list for the next week. And otherwise, Star Trek Lower Decks is back, and I've watched the first 2 episodes of season 5 a couple of times because it was great.
Good.
So, love me some Lower Decks. Sad it's ending. But yeah, that's kind of been me.
Simon Tang says, I got the Club Obi-Wan Indie. It was nice. Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. In terms of myself, in the post, I got the volume 1 of the Fantastic Four Jonathan Hickman run. It's been something I've been wanting to get for a while. I got it because it was £52. And I was like, well, that's better than 70. And it's better than its full price, which is like 113. So it's like, yeah, why not?
And it is a good run.
It's a very good run. It's a very, very good run. It's probably Jonathan Hickman's best work, to be fair. I'll need to get volume 2 at some point when it goes on sale. So it's always just kind of keeping my eye on Amazon and waiting it for a drop in price. I also got the Joy Toys Azek Araman, which is good. It's limited in some aspects because the shoulder pauldrons kind of limit the articulation. He's also got like a lot of very, 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 very pliable like capes and robes and stuff, but it does still get in the way of like you fiddling around. You can move them out of the way. It's just harder to see whereabouts you can move stuff. He doesn't come with a lot. He comes with like 1 extra set of hands, which are kind of open. Oh no, I lied. 2 sets of hands. He's got 3 in total. He's got Huldy Things hands, closed fist hands, and open hands for magic. He doesn't really come with anything else. But
so does this mean you can have an Araman cast fist on someone and just start wailing?
Yeah, if you wanted to, you could just beat the shit out of someone if you wanted to, like Lemuel Gauman. Is that what his name was?
Probably.
I think that's what his name was. Yeah, it's a really nice figure. I'm having a better experience with him with this figure than I did with the first Chaos Space Marine that they did, where the head just wouldn't stay on the ball joint. Like, as you twist the head, it would just come off the ball joint, which was really annoying, and I wasn't quite sure how to fix. So this is better. Oh, he does come with his giant Crozius scepter staff as well, obviously, if I didn't mention that. He's got that. He just looks like his original like model that you got from the Horus Heresy. So yeah, he's pretty nice. I ordered one of the Thousand Suns Terminators.
Nice.
And one of the newer Thousand Suns Horus Heresy just normal Marines that have the two melee weapons in the hands.
They do look. I've seen some pictures. They do look quite nice.
Yeah. I was like, well, it's all in preparation for like getting the Contemptor Dreadnought, which me and you talked about before the show. I was thinking about getting the Imperial Fist Dreadnought, Contemptor Dreadnought, because I like how it's painted. It's got a nice color layout. But then the Thousand Suns one is coming out, and it's got all of the the fancy Thousand Suns detail.
Yeah, it's the psychic one, so why wouldn't you?
Where it's got a giant, it's got their fancy Egyptian blade on the underside of the power fist. It's got a twin auto cannon of some description, and then it's got just again, more like scrolls and things just kind of hanging off of it. It looks really nice. So
it's called a Kopesh, Andy.
A Kopesh.
Yes.
Okay, it's one of them. Curved sword.
I know the names of really weird weapons. Sue me.
That's fine.
I can't help it. I'm just made that way.
I wasn't complaining. I wasn't criticizing.
No, they do look really nice. I think I said before we came on as well, but I've really been struggling to resist dipping into Joy Toy.
Which ones are you interested in? Of interest? Because the earlier ones are not good or weaker, obviously.
I mean, I've been tempted by some of their Space Wolves, but what's really got me? Well, yeah, I can't help it. But what's really got me tempted is some of their Infinity stuff, because they've got the license to do stuff based on the Infinity Miniatures game. And they've done not just kind of like the general troops who are very anything from near future tactical right up to very anime slim form-fitting body armor, but also powered armors of different levels right up to what they call tags, which are like dreadnought sized Evangelions, effectively, for a lot of cases. They tend to vary between either being remote controlled or piloted, and the piloted ones look very Appleseed.
Okay.
In look, like the landmates from that. But they all look really, really nice, and Infinity's one of my favorite settings. And it's just like, that's
I think technically all of the Joy Toy stuff is in scale with each other. Is that right?
It should be, because they had a line of they do their own brand lines of basically generic modern soldiers and sci-fi soldiers. Yeah,
because those sci-fi soldiers are like a lot smaller than the Space Marines that are coming out, because the Space Marines are about 12 centimeters tall. And I'm guessing general humans are probably like 9 centimeters tall or something like that.
I mean, their Imperial Guardsmen are scaled to the Space Marines.
Yeah, so and I'm pretty sure they're scaled to the rest of their line, generally speaking. Simon Tang says, how tall are Joy Toy figures? 4.5 inches. I've got on screen the figure that I'm picking up, or that I've got coming to me in the post, which is 12 centimeters tall. And all the Space Marines are about that. Unless they're in Terminator armor, then they're a bit bigger. Unless there's a Dreadnought, which is also then a little bit bigger as well. Well, quite a bit bigger.
I mean, they're not as big as you'd think, but they're also not as small. They look quite good for the size they are.
Yeah, they're not in scale with a Marvel Legends figure, for instance, and they're not the same. They're smaller than the McFarlane figures, but the McFarlane figures are shit, so don't buy them. That's what I say.
It still worries me deeply that they're reaching the stage. Well, they've gone past the stage now where you can actually get enough units in Joy Toy figure size to play a game of 40k.
Oh yeah, I watched a video of someone doing a kill team game with Joy Toy figures. Granted, the only problem with doing that is Joy Toys are quite focused on doing Space Marines, because obviously they sell. So there isn't a lot of Xenos stuff. Like the Tyranids have 2 models. There's a Hormagaunt and there is a Warrior, and that's it. For the Necrons, there's a couple For the Tau, there's a couple of mechs. Not a lot, so it's limited. There's no Drukhari yet or Eldar.
It is very Imperial centric.
Yeah.
But hey, if you want to do the heresy, you're sorted.
Kind of. I mean, they're just getting into the heresy. They've kind of just started moving into it. So the Blood Angels are coming up soon. Sanguinius is on the horizon. I think they've got either Lehman Russ has came out or he's coming out.
Yeah, because they've got Russ, they've got Gilliman,
Horus. Gilliman, Dawn.
Although Gilliman's the modern version, I think. They haven't done Heresy Gilliman yet.
True. Same for the Lion. The Lion's the modern version. How different the old version is, I'm not sure, to be honest. But Magnus is coming as well. No, that's true. Magnus is coming as well. So they've already got a decent amount of the Primarchs out. Obviously quite expensive because they're much bigger and they're very ornate. But if you like the Primarchs, this is probably almost a better. This is a faster way to get them than it is from Games Workshop. That's for sure.
Yeah, and price-wise, you're paying a bit more for them, but they come pre-painted.
Pre-painted and fully posable. And Magnus is I'm looking at Magnus, who's the tallest of them, obviously. He's 22 centimeters tall, so he's big.
Oh, that is quite tasty.
Let's see how tall the next Primarch I see on the list. Who's the first Primarch? I find Horus. This is in his full, I'm a super nasty boy. They could just repaint it mostly and tweak it to be good Horus, couldn't they? Because he's just like white.
Yeah.
Does it say how big Horus is? Horus does not have a measurement, so we'll go to Dawn. How big is Dawn? Let's see if Dawn has a measurement on him. Really? No measurement on Dawn either. Okay, next we'll go to Gilliman.
Wait, do they not list the height in the description before you get down?
Yeah, sorry, I was looking at the images. Gilliman is 18 centimeters tall. That's a good call. So he's smaller than Magnus by a bit. Dawn, it actually doesn't say for Dawn. In the description, it doesn't say for Dawn.
Actually, I do like how Dawn looks with his bolter and his chainsword.
Yeah.
The way they pose him. Those look really nice, to be fair.
Horus is 22 centimeters tall. 22.2 centimeters tall. So Magnus is still bigger than him, even with all of his armor. Which, again, makes sense, because I think Magnus is meant to be... Is Magnus bigger than Vulcan?
Magnus is the tallest. Vulcan is the biggest.
In terms of girth.
Yeah, because Vulcan's the one who can literally pound all the other ones into the dirt if he wants to.
He also doesn't die as well, no matter what you do to him.
Hilariously so.
Throw him into Earth's atmosphere and he just explodes into fire. No, he's fine.
For the reader, not so much for him.
No, he kind of loses his mind. Just a smidge. But the Primarchs are coming. Or have came. Simon says, are they good value in your opinion? I mean,
that's a difficult one.
I don't if you're comparing them to like toys like SH Figure Art and stuff like that, probably not. I think you get more out of your money from them. But I think these are still good. Yeah. I think they could be better for the price that you're paying for them, but they are the best Warhammer themed action figures on the market. If you want my opinion, Simon, I would say get one of the cheaper ones, the ones that are around, I don't know what it is equivalent for your money, but for us, it's like £31 seems to be their general price. Excuse me, for the newer ones. If you get one of them rather than like a more expensive character or something like that, then you can get a good idea. Just find one that you like the look of. And grab it. Obviously, don't try for the line introduction for like a one that's £100 or something, or again your equivalent, whatever that might be, because then you might fucking hate it, and that would be a bummer. But yeah, I'm enjoying the Araman. I'm getting some more. I'm always a big sucker for the Thousand Suns, even more so for the Horus Heresy versions, because I wouldn't say they did nothing wrong. But they did get fucked over by the stupidness of Russ. I fucking hate Russ. A Thousand Suns was a great book for me to just fucking loathe the Space Wolves. Hypocritical.
But it's all part of the journey. Rush realizes he made a mistake, and he learns.
I don't care. He fucked because he fucked over the Thousand Suns might not have turned to chaos if Russ hadn't been such a cock.
I mean, in fairness, he only did that because Horus told him to, and
he wasn't super against it though.
No, he could have fought things for a little bit more. He
also came in guns blazing, and he didn't think, it's weird that I can get into this planet full of magic users without any defenses going off or any ships meeting me in space.
Yeah.
Says Magnus was like, we should be punished. And Russ was just like, fuck everyone. What about the innocent people of Tizca? Fuck them. Okay.
I mean, in fairness, Magnus was equally at fault there because he really should have tried talking first. And he should have. He should
have sent a message, but coming in guns blazing was kind of nutty, especially with an innocent population below. I hear that's frowned upon these days, so what are you going to do? Simon Tang says, I'm Canadian, or I'm in Canada. I was a sucker and bought the Bandai release. Was that a sucker to buy that? I don't know if you were a
sucker for that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say you were a sucker. I think that was expensive. I think maybe I don't, because I never owned that. I never owned that because it was an Ultramarine. So
isn't the consensus on that figure that it's not bad in any way? It's just a little too. It's pricier than it probably should have been.
Yeah, it's pricier than it should have been, and it didn't have enough to justify its price point either. I think in terms of value, this
12 didn't help.
No, that was not a good idea. I think these might be a better deal than that technically, but they're not exactly 1-to-1. Is how I would describe them, because obviously Joy Toys is a Chinese kind of company, and Bandai's Bandai.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd say give these things a try. Have I done anything else? Sorry,
I was just going to say, Joy Toy do seem to at least be more confident in the brand than Bandai.
Yes, and they have been getting better. Because, like I said, my first dip into it was not a desperately positive one, which is why I stayed out of it for such a long time. And I think clearly, like, some of the designs should have had more work done to them. Like the Krieg soldiers are very limited in leg articulation because they have the cloaks going over the top of their thigh, so it absolutely neuters how much leg articulation they had and stuff like that. The Sentinel did look pretty cool for the Imperial Guard. It does look pretty nice, and it's pretty articulated for what it is. I wish it had more of its accessories.
I find it hilarious that they've done a Penitent engine.
Yeah,
the most 40k model you could possibly do.
They also did the baby carrier from the Grey Knights as well, which is very much why would you like? I get the Penitent engine. That's kind of a quintessential fucking weird, crazy, nightmarish Warhammer vehicle. The baby carrier though from the Grey Knights.
Yeah, that is a little bit weird.
Yeah, I kind of wish the Penitent engine did a little this. I think maybe it's the paint job on the dude or the lady in the Penitent engine. But I don't know. I think it doesn't look too bad, though.
Yeah.
Doesn't look too bad.
I'm just flicking through the page now. I'm actually genuinely surprised how much they have.
Yeah.
I think,
like you said, very Imperial focused, though. Very.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. You can also tell the difference. There's the Horus Heresy Terminators, and there are the Terminators that came around 10th edition, and the proportions on them are very, very different. So you can see that they got a lot better with them, which is, that's good. Simon says that really freaked me out, the Penitent engine. It should. Yes. That's what it's literally intended to do.
Yeah. It is arguably the most horrific war machine of the Imperium.
Did he do a crime? Ooh, that's a shame. In the engine with you.
Yeah, and I say this as someone whose sister's army includes 20 odd of the cyber masochists.
I mean, they're useful units, aren't they? So
they are.
Also, it in theory, like if you know these things exist, you would have thought people wouldn't do crime or turn to heresy Yeah, they do.
I mean, in fairness, the list of things that is a crime in the Imperium is very, very long.
Yeah.
It's these listings that aren't.
I think some of the laws are not necessary, but a lot of them are.
Well,
a lot of them are necessary. You've got to stop heresy, and as soon as it comes up, if you don't, you're fucked. And then you got to bomb a planet. It's like, okay, well.
Things like, did you forget to pray today? You did? Oh dear.
Yeah.
Yes, in a machine.
Yeah, that's
Did you misfile your taxes? Guess we're gonna turn into a servitor.
Yeah. The praying, if you tell that to a normal person in the Imperium, I would hope they'd be like, that's fine. Granted, you shouldn't tell that to anyone in the Imperium. You tell that to a sister Bal, you probably deserve to go in the penitent engine, because that's just stupid.
Yeah.
You're asking to get suffer then.
It says a lot for being sentenced to a penal regiment is probably the least worst option.
Worst. Yeah, you could be just sent, you could be conscripted to the Imperial Guard Army. It's like, oh, okay. Could be worse somehow. There are lots of ways it could be worse. That's the thing about 40k. People are like, oh man, I can't believe
it can always be worse.
The penitent engine's the worst thing that could happen. No, it's not. That's pretty light. Yeah. Like you could get sent. Yeah. Like you could be captured by the Dark Eldar. Now that's probably some of the worst stuff that could happen.
Or you could be a psyker, round up on the black ships and destined to be the Emperor's lunch.
Yeah. I always say, like, when people say, oh my god, 1,000 people a day are sacrificed to the Emperor, I'm like, it's not a lot, really, considering how big the Imperium is.
Yeah, in an Imperium of millions.
Billions. Trillions, maybe.
Millions of worlds.
Yeah. It's like 1,000 a day, it's not that lot. It sucks, because 1,000 people are a lot, but to keep the stability of the Imperium, it's relatively low. I can't imagine how small of a percentage that is within the Imperium.
And the thing is, it also has to be specifically psychers.
Yes, which makes it harder because it is rare. Yeah.
Yeah. So, fun.
Yeah, 40k. It's interesting. In terms of other stuff, I don't think I've really done anything else apart from streaming and whatnot. So,
fair dues.
Yeah, just work. Work and shit.
Yeah.
I did watch. We were going to talk about this. We Transformers 1.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh fuck! I almost forgot about that.
Have we got enough time to talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, fuck it. It didn't matter. Okay. It's fine. Yeah, we can roll.
Okay. What did you make of it?
So, I think it's a very generic hero's journey. I think it's fine. I don't think it's great. I've seen a lot of people almost talking like it's a fucking second coming. It's not. The reactions to it seem very movie one, like first live action movie to it. People saying it's crazy how good it is. It's not. It's a very standard hero's journey with not a huge amount of character development for most of the characters. And I think Megatron's turn, or D16, because he doesn't have a real name until he says his name's Megatron, which is also kind of weird. Until then, like him going from happy-go-lucky kind of guy to I want to kill Sentinel Prime, that's an okay character journey. From him going to I'm best friends with Orion Pax to go fuck yourself, Orion Pax, that came out of nowhere. Like when he's holding his hand and he says, I'm done saving you. It literally just doesn't feel right. It feels like there were scenes cut to justify it. He goes, I'm done saving you, and just drops him. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Where's the justification for this?
I mean, I kind of got for build up to that in some of the earlier scenes where he was already getting quite antsy and
he's angry, but not at Orion. Not to the point where I don't think it's justified to the point where he's willing to just drop his friend into the depths of hell or just into a giant maw. There's points where he'd be like, I can't believe you saved Sentinel Prime. That's kind of fucked up, dude. I don't think there's enough justification for him to be like, especially because spoilers for Transformers 1. If you don't want to hear about Transformers 1 stuff, you go. It's been out for a while now. If I got to see it, you should have been able to see it. I don't get to go anywhere. You should have been able to see it. So when Megatron accidentally shoots Prime, and he's like, bye, Prime, I'm done saving you. It's literally, he's about to burst into tears and then click, I'm done saving you, and drops him. it's such a twist. It's such a turn. It feels weird. It feels very strange. The rest of the characters don't really change. Everybody's pretty much the same from the start to the end. It's just a very okay film. It doesn't do anything special. The quintessons are there, and they're nothing. There's nothing to the quintessons. They're there for a plot point, and that's about it.
Yeah,
you know. I don't think it's bad.
No, I mean, I think I think I took to it probably a bit more strongly than you did, but I don't disagree with the way you've described things. I get it completely. I think the key thing is that it's a fairly basic story, but it's been told competently, ignoring that beat you mentioned, which personally I thought I got the build up to that, but I can understand why you may not have done.
I needed more scenes. I needed more scenes to justify it, I think.
I think it's the fact that it's compared, especially to the films that were shepherded by Michael Bay, this felt like a much more competently told story. It felt
compared to Michael Bay's, yes. I will throw out that I think the Bumblebee movie is a more interesting story because it feels like there's a little bit more to it. It's not just a generic hero's journey.
I agree with that. B's an interesting little story just because it takes a slightly different tack to the material, because it is focused on B. It's him on his own with Charlie, and they're both trying to. It's B trying to survive on his own, which we've never really seen in a film. It's always been more him as part of the team. So that was a nice shift. And like you say, it's a Bumblebee is a well-made film.
Yeah.
Rise of the Beast is not a perfect film, but there are bits to it. For the most part, I do find a lot of that film hits better than a lot of the stuff in the previous live-action films, apart from Bumblebee.
I mostly agree with that. I mostly agree with it because I agree it's better. I don't think it's good for Rise of the Beast. I think Rise of the Beast is still pretty bad as a movie, but it is better than all of the other Michael Bay movies, apart from maybe the first one.
We kind of grade with Transformers. We're always grading on a different scale because it's more a case of how good is this compared to these films here.
Oh, see, I'm trying to grade movies based on just movies.
I know.
I don't want to give it a pass.
Difficult to. But no, TF1, I enjoyed it.
That's good. A lot of people did.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it twice. I'm kind of disappointed its box office has not done brilliant. It's made its money back at this point, but it's not been the sort of hit that would guarantee a sequel. We might get one, but there's a good chance we won't, which will be a shame because I think they established a nice baseline to build off of potentially. I mean, it looked pretty good.
The visuals were okay. I didn't like the fact that a lot of the faces looked the same. A lot of them looked the same, but with a different helmet. Is how I'd describe them.
I can see that. Yeah,
there were some differences, but not a huge amount. A lot of them kind of just mushed together in a lot of ways, I think. Salmon Tang says, "Do you think there will be a sequel with the box office?" No. No.
Yeah, I want to be optimistic, but being realistic, it's unlikely at this point.
We
might be surprised.
Yeah, they might just throw it out because Hasbro has their own Hasbro Studios, so they might just say, "Fuck it, why not?"
And the thing is, in the grand scheme of things, this film wasn't that expensive.
No,
it was like $75 million, which
this is not a Joker 2 flop. Let's just make that clear. This is not a flop like Joker 2. Yeah. It wasn't a massive success, but it was not a complete disaster.
Yeah, I mean, I think as of last weekend, or me and Adam, Mr. White spoke about this in one of our recordings this week. The last set of numbers had it breaking. They hadn't factored in the British box office of that weekend yet, but it was still like 119 million worldwide.
Has it hit China? and that stuff? Because China's used to be a big place.
I think the only territory it hadn't opened in was France, and that opened this week.
Oh, okay. So most of the numbers are in, I suppose, for the most part.
Yeah. So it looks like it's broken 120 mil minimum. I haven't checked for the figures for this weekend yet. So
Simon says, I heard the film cost was split 3 ways between Hasbro, Paramount, and one other party. It sounds like a lot of, it sounds like they'll be disappointed then, depending on the percentages that they'll be getting.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Again, could there be a sequel? Maybe. I'm not entirely sure. I think Hasbro would like to try and get more movies because they want to get that movie money that they used to, but I wouldn't say, like, when IGN came out with like a 5 out of 10, people were like, oh, they're wrong. It's definitely not a 5 out of 10 movie. And I saw it, I was like, it feels about 5 out of 10, 5 or 6 out of 10 for like average or just above average kind of movie. I think.
I mean, I'd have said 6 is a minimum. 5 feels a little harsh to me. 5
feels average. That's an average movie. Mm-hmm. I think that's not an unfair thing, personally. Okay. I'm trying to think of other things I had. There was the comedy bits with Bumblebee. There are some really weird edits. The best example is for the trailer. You've seen it in the trailer probably, where he uses his knife hands and cuts into the room and starts cutting up the place, and then Optimus comes and he's like, "B, what are you doing? They're not the bad guys." And he's like, I'm not this was here when I got here, right? And they're like, yeah. And the scene ends, and it feels like it's a hard cut, and then it continues, but from the same place. And it's hard to describe unless you watch it. It feels like there is a cut there deliberately, and it's like, this is for the trailer bit, and then the scene continues. Yeah. And that happens a couple of times with comedy points in the movie. But that's the one that really stood out to me the most, as like a really weird edit.
Yeah, I will say a lot of some of the comedy bits. I went to 2 showings, and a lot of the comedy did get a decent amount of chuckles out of people.
That's good.
But some of the B stuff, especially, did kind of fall a little flatter than I think they intended. Which is a shame, because it was a nice way to approach the characters. This loner who's not on his own by intent. He's just wound up at literally the bottom of Iacon's circle of industry. So
sure.
But
I did think it was funny that they used the end credit scene of the Decepticons rising up in the trailer.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is hilarious. Not surprising in some ways, but it's a misrepresentation of the movie, kind of. It's kind of a little bit misrepresentation of the movie. But yeah, I'd say Transformers 1 is perfectly fine. Probably did as well as it was gonna do, in all fairness. I think The Wild Robot is a much better movie. I'm halfway through it, and it's better. It's more compelling. It's more interesting. It's very cute.
Do you think TF1 might have been done slightly better if it had released a few weeks earlier during the summer?
Numbers wise, yeah, because this is meant to be for kids, and doing it when the kids are like back to school is just a stupid idea. I don't think there was anything for a kid to compete against really during summer, because what was there during the summer?
It was a very weird summer, to be honest, for movies.
Yeah. Did they just not show films during the summer holidays these days?
It seemed that way. I mean, they waited till after the school holidays to release TF1, and then a week later The Wild Robot, which both would have been great as summer movies.
I guess you could have held them off till Christmas, because they could have been okay Christmas movies, for the kids to get into the cinema. I'm not saying they'd be hard hitters during Christmas.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, Transformers films have either been a summer or a Christmas movie.
Yeah, because it's a family stuff. That's when you put them out. You don't put them in random time slots, seemingly, between summer and autumn.
Yeah,
I'll say.
I mean, Bumblebee dropped at Christmas time.
The only other time I think you'd put it out is like Thanksgiving, right? Because that's like another for America. That's another big release kind of day.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just a really weird time to release it. So
It's odd.
Yeah,
Odd.
very odd.
Yeah. But
Hey-ho, we shall see.
People love it. At least I keep seeing people on Twitter go crazy for it, saying it's the best thing ever. And I'm glad they like it. I wonder if they'll be thinking that in 10 years' time, because that's kind of how the live action movies went for a lot of people. I was there for that.
Yeah.
A lot of people like, especially for the second one, a lot of people like, this is the best thing ever. I remember coming out of that with Dave, who was recording at the. Oh yeah, when me and Dave went to see the midnight screening of it down his way, and I remember coming out of the cinema, and it was the first time I'd come out of a movie, and I remember him saying specifically, that was amazing, wasn't it? And I was like, yeah, because I didn't know like what it was like to come out of a really bad movie. But I remember not feeling great about it, and then I thought more about it when I got home, and just started disliking it more and more.
Yeah,
and it took a while for people to kind of go, oh yeah.
I mean,
not great.
I've seen all the modern TF films at the cinema, normally within a day or two of release, if not on day of release. I did not come out of Revenge of the Fallen feeling good in any way.
You were ahead of me on the curve there that time.
Yeah.
Because I was just confused.
I mean, even though I was well aware of the issues in production and the fact it was written...
Oh, yeah, the writer's strike. Yeah.
Yep. And Shia LaBeouf blowing himself up.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's right.
But even then, it's just... It has moments, but it also has moments where you just think and go, what the fuck are you talking about?
It's every time something bizarre happens, you're like, oh, that's Michael Bay.
Yeah.
That's Michael Bay being Michael Bay as Michael Bay be.
So
bizarre.
By the time Dark and Camera, my expectations were well and truly lowered.
Weird.
Yeah.
Simon says, I think they wanted to avoid going against Inside Out 2. That makes sense. Yeah, that's good that they didn't go against Inside Out 2, because Inside Out 2 did well.
Inside 2 that was kind of at the start of the summer.
There were definitely points during summer where there was. Yeah, it didn't feel like there was anything that I can remember.
No, there were big stretches this year where over the summer period where it's just like, why is there nothing on?
Nothing. Yeah. But no, it's a fair point why it didn't come out during time with Inside Out. I mean, it's one of the few Disney movies that's actually done well this year, and it was okay. It's Inside Out 1 again, just a little different. It's like, yeah, it's fine. It's all right. Didn't hate it. Felt like there was a point to it, which was nice. And like I say, I don't remember any other movies. I guess maybe they didn't want to put it out during Christmas, because isn't Brave New World meant to be out at Christmas? I think it is. I think it's soon.
I think it's for New Year.
Is New Year? No.
I think it's February.
Oh, that's concerning.
I don't think it's this year, because next year you got Brave New World, Thunderbolts.
Oh no.
And something else.
Is there another one? I've seen the trailer for Thunderbolts and I went, oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm good. But
I've got a soft spot for Thunderbolts as a brand, so I'm intrigued.
I mean, I like the Warren Ellis run. I thought that was really fun, with Norman Osborn being the leader of it. Not the leader, but the I don't know what you would call him, like the manager,
director.
Yeah, the director. I like that run.
There have been some great runs of Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
There have also been some not so great runs of Thunderbolts.
Oh yeah, it feels like it's that one of those comics where it can either be really good or you can stop reading. Because when I said the Warren Ellis stuff, I mean like there's like 2 trades of the Warren Ellis stuff. Then it goes into Dark Reign, I think, and it gets a little bit. And I think I kind of gave up around that point.
Dark Reign is weird because Thunderbolts
gets messy because Norman's he's kind of split his attention.
Yeah, because the team from the Ellis run, a lot of them go with Norman onto the Dark Avengers.
Yeah.
and he then fills the Thunderbolts with somehow even more psycho villains.
Yeah, doesn't he put Juggernaut on the team? Because that's when I stopped. I think I stopped when the Juggernaut popped on.
Did Juggernaut join the Thunderbolts?
I think he did. It's been a while. Like Dark Reign was quite a few years ago at this point.
And then Dark Reign shifted over to the run where they put Luke Cage in charge of the Thunderbolts.
I wasn't there at that point.
Run out of a prison.
Oh, yeah, I definitely wasn't at that point. I was out by then. Yeah.
Yeah, it's had some interesting incarnations.
Yeah, it's probably like we don't know what to do with them. Figure it out. Yeah, whatever.
In fairness, the original pitch of Thunderbolts was such a good one. That reveal at the end of the first issue, you could never, you can't do that today.
You mean the original stuff?
Yeah, the reveal that it was the Masters of Evil. Because this was in the wake of Heroes Reborn. Heroes Reborn and Onslaught. So there were no Avengers or Fantastic Four anyone. It was basically the mutant teams, and then these guys showed up and filled the gap. And the reveal at the end of the first issue that it was actually Baron Zemo and a new team of Masters of Evil was mind blowing.
Yeah,
it was
makes sense.
Yeah, but it kind of only reworked because you also had that history with the characters who don't even exist in the MCU.
Yeah.
So
that's why it's not a good idea to do the Thunderbolts. Yeah. It's just you don't have the cast.
I mean, we have Zemo, and honestly, I'm here for more of Daniel Bruhl.
He was good.
Helmut Zemo, because he's been brilliant as every time he's shown up as a character.
He was Civil War was the last really good Marvel movie. The really good Infinity Gauntlet was okay. Endgame was not good, and it's been bad from that point on.
Yeah, I mean, it's had individual moments, but they've lacked the clarity.
No,
they've
all been terrible from that point on.
You didn't like Guardians Volume 3?
That was the weakest of the three Guardians. It was okay. It was not as strong as the first one. It wasn't as strong as the second. It was just like, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's as good as it went.
I quite liked the Marvels and Miss Marvel before it, so.
Okay.
But again, I have a soft spot. I'm not blind to the flaws of those films, but I tend to be a bit more forgiving than I probably should be.
Well, I'm the dog in the burning house going, this is fine. I'm okay with the choices I've made as my skin peels off and I die.
Yeah. But I'm also well aware my approach to going to the cinema is because I've spent 20 years now with one of these unlimited cards. That skews your perspective on going to the cinema because I've gone to see films I'd never have paid to go and see.
Did you see Longlegs?
No. I missed.
That was really good.
I've heard it's good though.
Yeah, that was really good. Nick Cage done up in a load of prosthetics to make him look creepy as shit. It's worth a watch. Very slow. If you don't like kind of slow, methodical, kind of psychological stuff, you might not like it, but I thought it was really interesting.
It is on my to-watch list, so I will get to it eventually.
Yeah. Did you watch Joker Part 2?
I haven't even watched Joker Part 1. I have no interest in
Joker Part 1's good. The first Joker movie is good. It's interesting. There's a point to it. Which apparently the director didn't like people having, and then decided to make Joker 2 to basically say you were wrong. This is how you should have taken the first movie. It's like bizarre. The second movie is a no fuck you to the audience in a lot of ways. It's so weird that it even exists. Did you see The Substance?
Not yet. I am waiting to watch that though. I want to watch The Substance because I've heard good things about it.
It's, again, pretty good. It's almost a comedy in some places, but I would describe it as Narcissism, the movie.
Yeah.
It runs on, in terms of how the characters run in that movie, it's all based on narcissism. It's pretty good. It's got some pretty interesting effects as well. It's worth a watch. Definitely worth a watch. Same to the audience. If you haven't seen The Substance, it's again worth a watch. It's classed as a horror. I'm not sure. Well, it's more body horror, I suppose, than anything else. Got some really uncomfortable shots with people, like really, really intense close-ups of characters to make you not like them or not trust them or not feel good around them, especially right at the start. And you're like, ugh, please, camera, pull away. I don't want to be this close to anybody. Blech. But yeah, where can people find you on the internet, Big D? Because this is where we'll close out the show.
Good shout. Okay, I am on all the socials, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, all that jazz as David Kelly. You can look for the weird Ross spelling and this handsome image as drafted by our friend Mr. Gruff, or a picture of Cup, either or. I am the co-host of Fluff and Busters with Mr. White, where we natter about over a film for an hour or two or three. We've just done a 2-part recording this week for The Fellowship of the Ring, which we are extremely happy about. I also, when I can get around to it, host Fluff and Hammer Community Radio, a little smaller show where I try and see if anyone's up for a chat. Ooh, Legacy Predaking. Tasty.
Well, a custom.
It's still very pretty.
Yeah.
And I'm an occasional contributor to VUKanime.net because I'm one of their resident mech heads. I think that's kind of all my jazz.
All right. Well, you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube as Decayed Andy. You can find us on the Moonbase 2 podcast. Again, if you type in Moonbase 2 Transformers podcast, you'll probably find us on most places. We're going to be streaming on YouTube, Moonbase 2 Transformers podcast, on a Sunday at 8:30. I think we're going to make it now. UK time. It's now an hour earlier or later.
That is.
Yes, later, because, of the time switch. So, American side of the planet will catch up in, I don't know, like a month, 2 months time. I don't know when your switch over is, or if they've had it.
Yeah,
might have had it. I don't know. Anyway, we're a consistent time as usual. So if you want to come on by and join the rest of the chat, come on down. Have a fun old time if you like. Otherwise, ccbunker.weebly.com. And I think that's us done. Thank you very much again, Big D, for joining me this week.
No problem. As ever, it's always a delight to be on. Thank you for having me.
No worries. And we'll catch you next week for Moonbase 2, whether that's news or, I guess, talking about toys. Because I don't know if we're going to have any news next week. We'll see. There might be another reveal event.
You can never tell at the moment, can you?
No, there might, like I say, there might be another random event where they reveal like the rest of the Constructicons, right? Who knows? Who knows? Until then, we'll see you guys next time.